So it looks like the anchor baby scheme has come to an end. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And a lot of people are flipping out. A lot of people are panicking. A lot of people are saying, what's going to happen to America? The Constitution is over. And they're telling foundational Black Americans, you guys are going to be next. I'm here to tell you that's not true. And we shouldn't be worried.
The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Like first to the family, welcome to the Afro Lead YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Lead. We have much to discuss this evening, okay? Thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single last one of you all for being with us this evening. So we're gonna get started, and we're more on time than we usually are. So we're doing good. We're doing good. You know what I'm saying? We're going into July really good. I want to thank you guys for watching. What we're gonna discuss is, let me prefix this by saying that Donald Trump has, he's been signing executive orders. When he first got in, this man started breaking records, signing all the executive orders he could possibly sign. He was signing executive orders until his wrist hurt. That's how many executive orders he was signing. One of his main executive orders to sign was to get rid of the anchor baby scheme. The anchor baby scheme is where people have allowed, because of the 14th Amendment, because of our ancestor, let's give some history to this, because of our ancestors, but mainly the situation with Dred Scott. The situation with Dred Scott where he and his wife tried to sue their slave master because their slave master violated the law by enslaving them in a state that outlawed slavery. And they were not free even in the state where slavery was banned. Slavery was illegal. So that case went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, you know what? Even though technically you right, but since you a Negro, they don't have to follow those rules. So they told Dred Scott, in the famous Dred Scott decision, they said the white man is not bound by any rules, or the white man doesn't have any rules he has to respect when it comes to a black person, okay? That there's absolutely, if you're black, you're not a citizen, so you don't have rights, so you can't sue. Even if it's a free state, you might be a slave or you might be a freedman. Doesn't matter. Just because you have freedom doesn't mean you have citizenship. And because you don't have citizenship, you can't sue nobody. So that's what the situation was, okay? There was in between. You're not a slave, but you're not a citizen. You just kind of like an in between because you're a Negro. And because of that, that was the big precedent, the big stepping stone. There were many others, but there was the big stepping stone that led to the 14th Amendment, all right? Because of the 14th Amendment, you've had a whole bunch of people come over here, mainly from, other countries and stuff like that. We have a lot of Hispanics that come over here from other countries, and they've exploited this amendment, completely exploited this amendment. We're going to show you a little bit of that. We're going to show you a little bit of the exploitation of this amendment to show you why. We got to go back. We have to go back to show you guys exactly why this was necessary in the first place. Why did Donald Trump decide to do what he did in the first place? Let me show you guys the issue that he was saying that a lot of other people have been noticing and calling out. But before we do, we got to play the copyright disclaimer to establish to YouTube that everything we play thus forth is protected under the guise of fair use. So we'll be right back, but as we're gone, I need you guys to hit that like button, okay? This is good information tonight, so hit that like button, all right? Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay. Story one, all right?
tracking a developing story, a new report about the number of kids born to undocumented immigrants in the U.S. The Pew Hispanic Center just released these numbers. Nearly 1 in 12 babies, according to the Hispanic Center, were born to undocumented immigrants in 2008. 16% were born to legal immigrants. Nicole Collins joins us live from Washington, D.C. this morning. And Nicole, is there a lot of surprise about these numbers?
I think for some people, certainly not, Kirk. You know, one of the really interesting points that this study made was that of undocumented parents in the U.S., 79% of their children were born here. That's quite a bit. So the study also shows that many of these children are Latino, and the study states that foreign-born Hispanics produce more children than Hispanics who were born in the U.S. Now, this all kind of comes back to the 14th Amendment, which has been a big discussion since immigration has come to the forefront in recent months. The 14th Amendment states that children born here in the U.S., regardless of what their parents' status is, those people become U.S. citizens. So proponents of tougher immigration laws say this is a loophole. They have a big problem with it. And, you know, they say statistics like these are really a reason to change that 14th Amendment. So at this point, though, you know, it's unclear if Congress would do anything about that. Lindsey Graham, a Republican senator from South Carolina, has come out and said that this gives people an incentive to break the law, to have these anchor babies, as they're called. People call them anchor babies because part of the law allows these children to petition to have other family members come to the U.S. Later on, once those children become 21, so sort of anchoring them to the U.S. and providing a way for some of their relatives to come into the country when they were illegal coming here in the first place to give.
Okay, that's clip one. Clip one. I'm showing you guys the gravity of these issues. Okay, that's clip one. This was in the 90s. This is not a new issue. That news clip in particular is close to, if not older than 30 years ago. Okay, so you got a whole lot. And notice that she said the ones who are foreign, they have more children, because they are like, okay, the more kids we have, the more we can get to finesse this little loophole in the 14th Amendment. Okay, the clip number two.
A California couple of running a tourism business to help pregnant Chinese women give birth to babies in the U.S. who would automatically gain U.S. citizenship. Michael Liu and Phoebe Dong were found guilty Friday of 10 counts of money laundering and 1 count of conspiracy. The case comes nearly 10 years after more than a dozen homes were searched across Southern California as part of a crackdown on birth tourism operators. Investigators say the pair encouraged pregnant women to lie on visa documents and hide their pregnancies, suggesting clients wear loose-fitting clothing and not, quote, waddle like a penguin in order to hide pregnancies. The couple ran the company USA Happy Baby, offering services to hundreds of women from 2012 to 2015. Tourists reportedly paid as much as $40,000 for the services. Liu and Dong were charged in 2019 with more than a dozen others, including a woman who pleaded guilty to running a company known as You Win USA, and she was sentenced to 10 months in prison. Liu and Dong are set to be sentenced December 9th and face up to 20 years in prison. The defense argued birth tourism isn't a crime, and the pair helped women who would have faced punishment under China's former one-child policy. Prosecutors said visiting while pregnant isn't a crime, but deceiving immigration authorities is. Under the 14th Amendment, the U.S. offers birthright citizenship, and parents can apply to become citizens once the child turns 21.
Okay, do you see that? Hold on, here's another one. Here's another one.
Streamed into more than a dozen apartments on the hunt for evidence. It's their biggest crackdown so far against so-called maternity tourism. Package deals for pregnant Chinese women so they can give birth to American babies. That's not illegal. Making false visa claims is.
These people were told to lie, how to lie, so that their motives for coming to the U.S. wouldn't be questioned.
In the fancy palm-lined suburbs on the edge of LA County, a local lawyer has been leading the search for maternity hotels.
This is one here that has been reported in a formal complaint to the City Council. They're essentially maternity motels where they rent out 3 to 4 rooms in the home to pregnant women that are coming from China and giving birth to get the dual citizenship.
And there's a few in this just one little estate here?
Yeah, 3 and just a couple of yards from one another.
We knocked at one of the places she identified. Hello, sir. Hi there. The residents didn't want to go on camera, but confirmed friends had come, paid to stay here, and had their babies in order to get an American passport. Neighbours noticed many different pregnant women staying in one house.
And what I've kind of seen is that they're just here for a brief time till they have children, and then they leave, and then within the same day, other families will move in. So I think they're circumventing our legal process to become citizens and to use some of the benefits this country provides. So I don't think it's right.
And this building is often the first port of call.
Let me pause it. These are Japanese in both these cases. These are not the same case, though. Okay, because you might think this is just a different news clip or a different news company reporting on the same situation. This is a different situation. Okay, so it happens a lot of times with Chinese people. Okay, especially in Los Angeles. But these are, and I'm letting you guys know, these are little plots and people are literally setting up houses and hotels or whatever and allowing pregnant women, you stay in here, you get to kind of avoid immigration or whatever. Once you drop the baby off, you good. They're doing that because they don't want the baby to go to the hospital or whatever the case is, because their visas isn't supposed to be they're not supposed to sit up here and overstay their visa to have a baby here. Okay, so they can't go to a hospital and have records and all of that stuff. They want to hide the fact that they're pregnant. Okay, so they hide in these little hotels and motels and big buildings and stuff like that, and a lot of people getting a lot of money off of that. So there's crackdowns going all over the place because there's a couple who has a house, and that house has, different levels to it, or those house has a few rooms, and you got a whole bunch of, you got beds in the living room and stuff like that. You have beds in the living room, and they'll come in, nurses who are doing this illegally, they'll come in, they'll treat you, make sure that the baby is safe or whatever the case is. Bam. The second your water break, run you to the hospital, you have the baby. Okay, the baby's a citizen. And it's a little scam. So now, even if you go back to China with the baby is still a citizen. So the baby always has the ability to come back and be all like, hey, I don't have to grow up in America to be a citizen. My parents don't have to be a citizen for me to be a citizen. I was born in Los Angeles, therefore I am a citizen. Therefore, I am entitled to all of the rights of a citizen, and I vouch for my mama and daddy to come to America. And that's what they've been doing for generations at this point. Okay? So I want you to know this is not one or two cases. This is several cases. They've been doing this for a while, for generations, making money hand off of fist, exploiting the 14th Amendment. Let's finish, because there's still some more we got to let be known, because I don't want nobody be all like, man, that's not even a thing. They don't even do that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And we all know they do.
Week, dozens of Chinese women with newborn babies come here to get American passports for their children. Few families wanted to be identified, but said their motivation was China's one-child policy.
I want to here to deliver the baby because in China don't allow to have second baby. The U.S. passport is not important.
Others admitted the lure of citizenship was strong. Having an American passport, she said, he can make his own choice in the future about where and how to live when he's an adult. New mothers coming to the US brings the local government many benefits, she said. It's not a burden, it's mostly a benefit.
Do you see? That's them exploiting the law. That's them exploiting the law. Now, I don't agree with the whole one-child thing. I mean, that thing is, I don't know why China did that. And they suffering the consequences for that, because that was not a smart policy. But that don't have nothing to do with us. It doesn't. And that's not an excuse for you to sit up here and exploit the law, because you're not going to any other country and doing that. Why are you coming to America? Why aren't you going anywhere else? You're not going to any other country and trying to have a baby. You're coming to America because you want the baby to become an American. That's the only reason. So don't give me that, oh no, it's not even like that, because you would go anywhere else. But you're going here and you're hiding. Okay? You're hiding to circumvent that. All right? Let's show you another one, because it's not even just the Asians. Look at this.
Fraud.
We got receipts tonight, y'all.
Combination of immigration fraud and healthcare fraud.
Prosecutors say they've taken down a birth tourism ring operating in Suffolk County. A joint investigation between local, state, and federal agencies led to the arrest of 6 people. Investigators say those involved would unlawfully bring pregnant women from Turkey to Suffolk County to give birth so their children would be granted American citizenship.
To date, we've identified over 100 individuals who collaborated with this criminal organization, resulting
over 100 individuals. Over 100 individuals. Okay, this is a criminal organization. Okay, this is what folks need to be focusing on when it comes to RICO charges. Not looking at Lil Durk and Young Thug. They need to be focused on this. This is a RICO charge, right? This is a criminal organization, and I promise you there are actual U.S. citizens who are a part of that, who got the medical licenses and all of that stuff, transportation. They got inside men. They couldn't be successful unless they did. So whether it's China, Turkey, so yeah, we're not discriminating. A lot of them come over and do this, and not just Hispanics, not just Asians, all from all over the world. This has been a thing. There's 100 people, so it's not 1 or 2 people who are trying to finesse. They looking at it around the world. I want you to understand. Everybody pretty much knows the Constitution of America before coming here. They know the Constitution. Around the world, the Constitution is relatively known, okay? Especially the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The main constitutions that people know of, like off back, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. You got a whole bunch of other amendments that people don't know, but those are really the main amendments. Those are the ones that everybody knows off back. Like these are rights for real, for real. They know that across America, across the world. I mean, they know that across the world. So everybody knows, like, man, you drop a baby off, whatever the case is, we can always come. That's our anchor to this country, because technically we are related to a United States citizen who is entitled to all of the rights. They have whole different organizations and different people who are working together in collaboration with this. It's not no 1 or 2 people. We got to emphasize that. This is a big problem. And every single clip I played you, it's been a different situation. This has been a different, well, yeah, the Bill of Rights and stuff, but a lot of people don't know like each one of them. But I'm talking about the Constitution, the amendment. Everybody knows that, and they've been exploiting it. And then when they go home, they'll be all like, hey man, you better get on this. And that's been going on for generations and generations and generations. All right, let's continue.
And millions of dollars of public assistance, fraud, and countless
the
visas
Fifth
and
Amendment
immigration
too, of course.
benefits
A lot of black people know the Fifth Amendment. I gotta say that
should have never been issued.
Officials say it was going on for more than 3 years. They explain that operators of the scheme would use advertisements like the one shown here on social media sites like Facebook. The ads not only offered American citizenship for the children, but also insurance to pay for medical expenses.
It involved false statements to Medicaid that these Turkish nationals were represented to be residents of New York State who had no income, which was in fact not true.
They got ads, anchor baby ads on Facebook. I mean, that's how deep they running this like an actual business. They got anchor baby ads on Facebook, y'all. This has been an issue.
Many of them were people of substantial means.
Turkish women would then pay for these services. Officials say the scheme led to $2.1 million in fraudulent losses to the Medicaid program, and 119 babies were granted American citizenship. Authorities say once in Suffolk County, mothers would stay in so-called birth houses.
They were located in Center Mauritius, Dix Hills, East Northport, East Patchogue, Smithtown, and West Babylon.
We went to one of the houses believed to be involved in the scheme and talked to neighbors. While none felt comfortable talking on camera, they did say to me that they weren't shocked by the news, one even saying they saw a lot of pregnant women in the area. Facing charges in the scheme, 4 Turkish citizens and 2 Americans, all scheduled to be arraigned late this afternoon.
Aksaku, Kakaraglu, and Kaplan, they were largely responsible for advertising the scheme, and Marte and Rodriguez allegedly assisted the women, the foreign nationals, in applying for Medicaid coverage and assisted in submitting the fraudulent applications.
Suffolk Police Commissioner Geraldine Hart says this is the first birth tourism ring the department has encountered. They caught on to the scheme thanks to a Town of Smithtown employee.
Information was provided to detectives about birth certificates obtained by 5 Turkish women, all with the same address, who had babies around the same time.
Investigators also worked internationally with agents in Turkey. Officials say this scheme compromised the integrity of our immigration and healthcare systems.
The methods and means employed by these criminals were both unlawful, completely unacceptable.
Prosecutors say the children will probably keep their U.S. citizenship, and the women who came to Suffolk and gave birth are not the targets of the criminal investigation, and most have gone back to Turkey. From West Babylon, Chelsea Irizarry for Newsday.
Okay. All right. So this leads to a very, very big issue. A big issue many people have expressed is an issue. Okay. The only person you've ever really seen say anything like about actually rectifying this, not necessarily the amendment, but to plug the hole, to give some type of really amending to the 14th Amendment, has been Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, look, at this point, the country is in a crisis. I need to sign something real quick because, to be honest, an amendment takes a very, very long time. It takes a lot of cooperation from Congress and the states. Pretty much almost all of America has to agree in order for you to amend an amendment. It's possible, and it has been done, but it is very, very difficult and takes a very, very long time. So Donald Trump was like, you know what? I need to do something to stop the bleeding. Okay. I don't have time to sit up there and be going back and forth with Congress for years while this is still persisting as a very dangerous issue. It's an epidemic at this point. So he was all like, you know what? I'm gonna sign an executive order that puts it a limit to who is automatically given birthright citizenship. So what we're gonna do, okay, we're gonna just look at it. We're gonna look at the amendment. We're gonna see exactly what this is. Come on, let's discover this together, y'all. We got the glasses on. We're gonna do some research here to see exactly what it is, because people are saying he's ending birthright citizenship. So let's look exactly and quote exactly what it is. All right, hold on. Here we go. Oh, look at this. So he references Dred Scott. We don't necessarily need for that to happen. We don't need for him to reference Dred Scott necessarily, because we already talked about Dred Scott. So it's saying here what the things is among the categories. Actually, let me go up here. Okay, so he brings up the situation with Dred Scott, which we discussed, which is the reason, really the straw that broke the camel's back to make the 14th Amendment a possibility in the first place, because it was for us. Okay. So he says, but the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to anyone born within the United States. The 14th Amendment has always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who are born in the United States, but not subject to jurisdiction thereof. It says, let me actually, because I don't want to take too long. Okay. I'm gonna read the whole thing just so there's no confusion. Consistent with this understanding, the Congress has further specified through legislation that, quote, a person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a national and citizen of the United States at birth. Okay, so this is what the Supreme Court had already agreed per the 14th Amendment. And it says, among the categories of individuals born in the United States and not subject of the jurisdiction thereof, the privilege of the United States citizenship does not automatically extend, listen, does not automatically extend to persons born in the United States. When that person, now this is what he's changing, when that person's mother was unlawfully present in the United States and, okay, gotta highlight that, and the father was not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of person said birth, or said person's birth, or when a person's mother's presence in the United States at the time of person's birth was lawful but temporary, such as but not limited to visiting the United States under the aspects of visa waiver programs or visiting on student, work, or tourist visa, which is exactly what we were dealing with the Asians. Remember, that's because, I pressed the wrong button. That's exactly what we were dealing with the Asians. Remember that. They were coming in on tourist visas. Oh, I'm just coming in for a couple weeks or something like that. I just want to visit America. Bam, drop a baby off. Ha ha, I got you guys. So that's why he put that in there. Let's get back to it. Come on, we got to get with the receipts, y'all. We got to get with the receipts. Okay? So it continues to say, it's where was I? It says, when a person's mother is present in the United States at the time of person said birth was lawful but temporary, such as but not limited to visiting the United States under aspects of visa waiver program or visiting on student, work, or tourist visa. And that's again, and the father was not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of person said birth. Now, it really does repeat itself at this point. The thing just repeats itself. So all he's saying is, and I'm going to get up to maybe about half, it says, under section 2, it says, it is the policy of the United States that no department or agency of the United States government shall issue documents regarding U.S. citizenship or accept documents issued by state, local, or other government or authority prompting to recognize United States citizenship to persons born in the circumstances I just mentioned. So what does this mean? What does this mean? This means that if your mother is not a legal citizen and your father is not a legal citizen, and you give birth and the mother gives birth, that baby is not an automatic citizen. That's not necessarily saying that the baby can never be a citizen ever in their life, but the automatic citizenship is stopped on those circumstances. Okay, so even though he is a plug to the anchor baby stuff, it's still not even a solid all the way plug, because there's a lot of people who have anchor babies on one side. He's saying with this amendment is that if both of the parents are illegal, that you can't have that the baby is not an automatic citizen. Okay, now everywhere else in the world, that's automatically a thing. That's I can't go anywhere. A pregnant woman, I can't go anywhere in the world with a pregnant woman and set up some type of scam to finesse them into citizenship for my child. You couldn't go anywhere. All of the women here, y'all give birth to, outside of America. That baby ain't Mexican just because the baby was born in Mexico. The baby ain't Nigerian just because the baby was born in Nigeria. The baby ain't Chinese or Japanese just because the baby was born in China or Japan. Okay? They will straight up tell you that you're not gonna finesse no citizenship out of nobody. Nobody. It's only here where citizenship has literally been finessed and exploited. Okay, so a lot of people were trying to get out, and they were trying to say, well, that sounds racist. Okay, we already know what you're on, Donald Trump. That's racist. That's racist. We already know. So what Donald Trump actually did, which was surprising to a lot of people, is Donald Trump was all like, no, it's technically not racist because y'all, it wasn't supposed to be about y'all like that. No way. So this is what Donald Trump had to say.
Get birthright citizenship or automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. That's another way. It's automatic citizenship for children of illegal aliens. That's the other term that they use, which is actually more accurate, more understandable. And it's ridiculous. We're the only country that has it, and certainly the only country that has it to that extent. And it wasn't meant, if you look, it was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves, it was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders from all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that. And hopefully at some point the courts will understand that without having to go through a whole big deal. This was meant for the children of slaves. And look at the timing of it and you'll see. And I hope judges will understand that. And it has to stop because it's really hurting our country very bad.
So when he signed the executive order, what happened is that you have federal judges, okay, all across the country who put an injunction. What does an injunction mean? An injunction is pretty much a judge's ruling on something. That something is either you have to do it or you can't do it at all. So when judges put an injunction on a president's executive order, that's pretty much stopping the executive order from going through. That's what that is. That's what that means. It's stopping the executive order from going through. So you had a whole bunch of injunctions from federal judges right after he signed the executive order. So what Donald Trump said is, you know what, I'm going to take this to the Supreme Court and we're going to argue over you guys being able to stop my executive order. Because it seemed like everything y'all doing, y'all blocking it and y'all trying to stop this executive order, and I'm not going. So Donald Trump said, you know what's going to happen? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this to the Supreme Court. We're going to have the Supreme Court argue this. We're going to have the Supreme Court look at the situation at my executive order. Now, a lot of people are saying he's doing this is not constitutional because they do have a right. Don't get me wrong. They do have federal judges do have a right to put an injunction. But what Donald Trump is arguing is that, yeah, you can put an injunction on the state that you preside in. You can't put an injunction on everybody in the whole country now. I'm the president. What we got going on? So he said, no, I'm not doing it. So the situation went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court they ruled in favor of it. The Supreme Court ruled in favor not necessarily of the constitutionality of, just keep this in mind, not of the constitutionality because that's still being argued, but of the fact that a federal judge can't block nationwide. One federal judge can't block a nationwide executive order. So what's the situation now? Very important to understand is that there's different states where the federal judges have the injunction and Trump's executive order doesn't apply to that state. So you got about 22 states where Trump's executive order is the law and then 22 states that it's not going to be. In the next 30 days, it's going to be applied. This was Donald Trump's. Again, he had another press release after the judges sided in his favor, and this is what he had to say.
We can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So
now, he keeps saying this. He keeps saying this. Why? We're going to show you some clips. But he keeps saying this because they keep trying to the media keeps trying to fearmonger us by saying, hey, y'all, an attack on the 14th Amendment, because you got to understand about the situation with Dred Scott. Respect to our ancestor Dred Scott, much respect, no disrespect at all. They're using Dred Scott's name in vain. They're using Dred Scott's name not for the benefit of us, not for the benefit of his lineage, not for the benefit of FBA, but they're using Dred Scott's name for the benefit of immigrants, illegal immigrants. Keep this in mind. They're using that for that. So they're outside, and of course, under the Biden administration, they was coming in through buses, they was coming in through planes, they was packing the joint up, they was flooding in the police departments, they was flooding into airplanes and all of that stuff, all the damn quote unquote homeless shelters and asylum seeker shelters that they created out of nowhere, and they was just up and everywhere. And they still in here deep, just dropping babies off. So that goes back to what we were saying before. So now Trump is all like, hey, man, look, this got to stop. And they keep trying to trigger us into fighting against this. And Trump is all like, hey, this ain't me attacking y'all. This is me addressing a generational problem at this point, a generational problem where we've been exploited. And the thing is, they're using Dred Scott's case to exploit our community. Okay, let's keep this in mind. All right, so let's finish what he had to say. Let's let it finish.
So thanks to this decision, we can now properly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank, again, the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant, and they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court.
Look, man, love them or hate them, a lot of people have been feeling this way before Donald Trump. A lot of people bringing this up like, oh, y'all just in love. No, people have been feeling this way before Donald Trump ever got into politics. This has been an issue before Donald Trump ever got into politics. He's just been the one to address it and do something about it. But this has been an issue way before Donald Trump had ever got into politics at all. And he's saying this, and he's saying, look, I'm not sitting up there saying this against black people. I'm saying that this has been exploited, and y'all are being the damn stepping stone, or your ancestry, your history, our history, which is a problem a lot. Our history is becoming the stepping stone for these other groups of people to exploit little laws and little finesses and little schemes. Our history, the rights that we fought for, is being exploited, like the 14th Amendment and like the Dred Scott decision. It's being exploited. So which is why you're seeing a lot of foundational Black Americans kind of cool with it. We not tripping. Because we know we're not getting deported, and we have had enough of our history and our ancestry being exploited. We've had enough of that. It's up. It's over with now. But you got a bunch of people trying to fear monger us. Y'all hit that like button. Please hit that like button, y'all. We gotta get the receipts out. We gotta get the receipts out, man. We gotta get the receipts. So you got people trying to make it seem like, oh my God, this is that's a violation to our rights. Here we go. Brace yourselves.
Let me make one thing real clear. This ain't about injunctions. This is about erasing the 14th Amendment with a smile. We thought the courts were supposed to be the last line of defense, the place where liberty stands tall even when presidents go rogue. But on Friday, in the 6-3 decision.
Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, notice when you hear them talk about this, notice that they keep saying ending the 14th Amendment, ending birthright citizenship, killing the 14th Amendment, destroying the 14th Amendment. Notice I actually read to you guys what the executive order says, what policy he says, what policy he's trying to reform, okay? And the amendment he's trying to reform, the limit he's trying to give. This is not an ending, killing, destroying, tearing down of the 14th Amendment or birthright citizenship. He's saying that that little loophole where y'all get to sneak under the border or overstay y'all visa and have a baby, and then bam, the baby's a citizenship. We closing that door for y'all, okay? But notice they're not framing it like that. They're framing it like the 14th Amendment is just torn up, it's gone. And that's not the truth. I read the executive order myself in front of you guys, all right? But let's continue, because here come the fear mongering.
Straight down party lines. The Supreme Court told us, nah, we good. They let Trump sneak his foot in the door to cancel birthright citizenship. And they dressed it up in legal jargon about equity and injunctions. Oh, but don't get distracted. The real target was always your rights, especially if you was born with brown skin, immigrant parents, or ancestors who came here in chains rather than visas.
Ancestors who came here in chains rather than visas. No, don't drag my ancestors into this. Do not do that. All it is, yeah, this is an attack on us. Don't know. This is not an attack. This is an attack on people who've been explained. And it's not just brown. And even y'all saying, yeah, it's an attack on brown people. Man, I just showed y'all a video of Turkish people, and they are classified racially as white. Okay. So it's been white immigrants doing this, Asian immigrants, Hispanic immigrants doing this. So let's be honest, just by population percentage, most of them have been the Hispanic immigrants, but it's been a whole lot of them, you know, by population size. I mean, not percentage, by size, there is mostly Hispanic, but all of them been on that. Okay. And we are the only people who have not been exploiting that law. We've been the only people who haven't been. And he's trying to make it seem like, yeah, they're getting the brown and they're getting the immigrants and they're getting us. No. This he keeps saying that this ain't got nothing to do with us. When you go to the executive order, when you look through the fine print, I don't see how it applies to us. I see, to be honest, how you guys have been using the Dred Scott decision to finesse your way into the country. Okay. It was not no easy way to get this decision. It was not no easy way for us to get citizenship. It was not easy for us to leave slavery. None of this stuff that we got, that our rights that we fought for, that our ancestry fought for, that they fought for and died for, none of that stuff was easy. And you guys are exploiting that. And it's not because you believe it, because we couldn't go to your country and have anchor babies. Notice the anchor baby issue is only an American issue. Mexico don't got no anchor baby problem. China don't got no anchor baby problem. Japan don't got no anchor baby problem. Nowhere in Africa has an anchor baby problem. Only America has an anchor baby problem. And you wouldn't go to any other country and have a baby illegally talking about, hey, technically I have a plug to the country. They will tell you immediately, no, you do not. No, you don't. That bit, you take that baby with you. No, you don't. And actually don't come back. How about that? They will let you know right then and there. Oh, no, you do not have no plug to this country. No, you don't. No, you don't. So, yeah, don't bring up my answer. Don't disrespect my answer. That's disrespectful. Don't let that happen. We cannot let that slide.
For a second, it looked like the lower courts might hold the line, right? 3 federal judges had already slapped Trump's executive orders down with nationwide injunctions, telling him loud and clear, you can't just rewrite the Constitution because you feel like it. Immigrant groups were celebrating. 22 states stood up in court. Even the appellate courts said, let this play out. Then SCOTUS slid in like a repo man in the night. Instead of ruling on whether Trump's executive order was flat out unconstitutional, which it was, they sidestepped it and went for the technical foul. Universal injunctions go too far. God damn it. Basically, the court said that judges can't stop Trump's policies for everyone. Only the people who specifically sued. So now we're playing legal whack-a-mole across 50 states while Trump rushes to implement a policy that directly contradicts 150 years of law. So what's at stake, right? Everything. Let me break this down plain and simple. Trump's executive order says if your parents weren't here legally, or maybe they were here legally but temporarily, you don't deserve citizenship. Are you serious?
I mean, you don't. He said, "Are you serious?" Yeah, you don't. You don't. You don't. And we don't have an issue with that. Why? Because no other country in the world has that. Every other country's looking at that law like, damn, y'all would let that slide for that long? That's how everybody else is looking at it, which is why everybody and their mama from outside of America is trying to come over here and get the bag. Everybody else is looking like, man, I would never have no law like that. That's stupid as hell. I don't know why y'all got that. Y'all been having that for way too long. That's crazy. And they be all like, oh, hey, if they got it, you might as well finesse that bag. And everybody's been finessing that. Okay. No, you do not deserve that. Okay, nowhere. We need to get to this place where y'all not going to be able to finesse a law based off of our history and our grievance for y'all benefit. Y'all not even fighting for birthright citizenship in your homeland. None of them are going back to their homeland and saying we need to implement birthright citizenship. None of them are saying that. But all of them are talking about birthright citizenship here. They're fighting for birthright citizenship here more than we are. Because they see it as a finesse. So, no. Y'all don't even agree with birthright citizenship because y'all wouldn't apply that to y'all homeland. If y'all was running the country, y'all wouldn't apply that. But y'all want the plug to be exploited by y'all immigrant family. And we just done with that. We just done with that.
The 14th Amendment that was passed after the Civil War to make sure that black folks were considered full human beings says all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. It don't say except for immigrants. It don't say only if your parents had papers. It says all persons. A phrase so fucking inclusive. It slapped the face of Dred Scott and every slave master of the fucking Confederacy. So what Trump is really doing here is rewriting Reconstruction. The very laws meant to undo slavery. And the Supreme Court just handed him the pen. You thought Isengard was bad? You thought Voldemort was a problem? Justice Amy Coney Barrett, Trump's handpicked avatar, penned this majority opinion like it was a legal lullaby. With principles of equity, she says, while politely gutting the power of federal courts to stop executive tyranny. And while they didn't officially cancel birthright citizenship yet, make no mistake, they laid the legal groundwork to allow Trump to do it himself. In the dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, she tried to hold the line, calling out how this decision disregards the long history of protection for non-parties. But her voice is now a lonely alarm in a house full of arsonists. This ain't about immigration. This is about control. It's about telling people of color, especially black, brown, or immigrant babies, that they're
telling people of color, especially black, brown, immigrant babies. Okay, all right. It don't take long. They tell on themselves all the time.
their existence is conditional. That if you ain't got the generational wealth, land deeds, or ancestors off the Mayflower, you're permanently under review. Today is birthright citizenship. Tomorrow is voting rights. Affirmative action, gone. Housing, gone. Education, you got it, gone. When does it stop? In the MAGA cult, are they going to keep smiling in your face, talking about this is what we voted for. This is what the founders wanted. Don't forget, y'all, the founders owned slaves. They're not playing. Trump told you on day one what he was coming for. And this court just gave him the green light to drive through your rights like a bulldozer in a graveyard. So don't wait on the Constitution to bleed before you speak up. Because if birthright citizenship can be reviewed, so can your freedom.
The fear mongering is getting out of hand. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The whole, well, if it's them, then next thing, and they said this the first time, in case, breaking news, in case you guys didn't know, Donald Trump has already been the president before. And they said the very, very, very first time that he was going to be the president, the very first time that we were going back in chains. Didn't happen. Okay. The whole thing about this isn't even a canceling, because he keep using a word that you're canceling the 14th Amendment. You're ending the 14th Amendment. They keep using words like cancel, destroy, ending, kill. None of that is happening to the 14th Amendment. Okay. None of that is happening. And to be honest, Trump's executive order isn't even across all of America, right? At this point, everywhere in America is not even applied. Okay, but he's looking at it, and a lot of people are agreeing, because this has been an issue before Donald Trump. A lot of people are agreeing, like, look, man, we got to stop the bleeding at some point, because what are we going to do at this point? What are we going to do? We have to stop the bleeding at some point, and that's why we're not upset with it. They're sitting up there fear-mongering, but that's not working. Let me get to super chats. We got more stuff. We got more receipts, y'all. Come on now. All right. Marcus, shout out to Marcus. He says, FYI, U.S. Constitution audiobook is free on Google. Thank you. Thank you for that information. Thank you. Everybody knows you can look it up yourself. You can look up the executive orders yourself, because they're from the government. They're free. You don't have to pay for them. You can just Google the executive orders. It'll take you there. All of them are 100% free from top to bottom. Yet you're framing it in a way to make you afraid that our rights are going to be taken away. Up, down Penn Avenue, he says, illegal aliens, don't let that term go over your head. That's what they are. They're calling them immigrants and all of that stuff. That's not, come on now, it's not the case. And then he says, this is a tether. They deflect and lie to confuse and finesse. His platform is funded by DNC dollars to undermine FBA. Notice that. And remember, hold on, because actually you bring up a good point, and we got to show the receipt, okay, to substantiate that point, because we don't like to make stuff up. Hold on. Let me show you guys the receipt to verify this. Hold on. Because remember, with the Kamala campaign, they pay people. The DNC admits. I'm glad that you brought that up, Penn Avenue. I'm glad you brought that up. Remember, the DNC admits they pay influencers and TikTokers and other people like that directly. Remember?
Perhaps you've noticed our social media feeds are now a battleground in the race for the White House. And in this space, Democrats have deployed influencers to win over voters online. In tonight's Eye on America, Jolene Kent reveals their sophisticated and expensive tactics.
Look at the volume in this hair.
23-year-old Awasane made a name for herself dispensing
Notice, they get non-FBAs.
Beauty tips on TikTok.
I just peed in the White House.
They have a couple FBAs, but most of the ones they have are non-FBA.
So when she posted this video of her White House bathroom break, her 500,000 followers took notice.
I was just shocked. I was like, did you guys see that marble?
Sane, who met us in Houston, was one of a few dozen influencers invited to the White House to watch the State of the Union and meet President Biden.
He said to us, the collective presence in this room has more viewership on Gen Z than all of traditional media combined. So here's my birth control vlog.
It was this viral video she posted after the fall of Roe v. Wade
over the United States in my uterus
that initially caught the attention of a Democratic super PAC. On the right, Turning Point USA has mobilized influencers for years, raising nearly $200 million since 2020.
You realize they're coming for you guys next.
Now, Democratic organizations are flooding the creator community with cash and providing behind-the-scenes access.
They're flooding the creators community with cash. Okay.
Come with me to meet the President of the United States.
We just have to be working with them, and if we're not, we're missing a huge way that voters are getting information about the world.
Rob Flaherty runs digital strategy, previously in the Biden White House and now for the Harris campaign.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
He called the highly memeable Harris a massive asset as the campaign reaches out to thousands of influencers. What kind of coaching do you give influencers acting on behalf of the Harris campaign?
Talking points, resources, base language.
While Flaherty says the Harris campaign does not pay influencers directly, CBS News found a constellation of other Democratic political organizations that do. In May,
Okay. And the Harris campaign is saying they're not paying directly, but they can pay an organization that can pay them directly. So don't let that finesse go over your head.
Future Forward, the super PAC supporting Harris, hosted panels like Gaming the Algorithm and how advocacy can benefit your business.
In the first 100 days of a Republican.
Now, I think that's all we need to see with this. I think that's all we need to see, and we can get back to it. But a lot of these people, he brought up a really good point with that super chat. A lot of these people, they'll get on there and be like, guys, this is a diminishing of our rights, of our civil liberties and everything like that. I was afraid to go to sleep. I was tossing and turning and having nightmares, and they're going to come for us next. And next thing you know, I'm going to be picking cotton on the plant. They're doing that. This is not because they're real activists. This is not because they're even really worried. Most of these people on here are well, I'm not going to say most, because you have some people who are just shills just for the hell of it. But you got people on him. Remember when that whole thing got exposed by, we got to bring them up. Mouse stop. Roland Martin. Remember when that money got exposed, that Roland Martin took $300,000 to do that nobody liked to see anyway interview with Kamala Harris? Do you remember that? And he was sitting up there arguing, oh no, it's not like that, it's not like that, I didn't even get paid that much. Remember that? None of these people are standing on principle. None of these people are standing on what they believe in, quote unquote. No, these people are getting paid. These are actors. These are not activists. These are actors and actresses. These are people who are acting. They're getting on the camera. The white man just told you, I give them the talking points. They're not even coming up with the same talking points, which is why we hear so often people say the same things over and over and over again. It sounds like, okay, one video said that, another video said that, another video said that, another video said that, because this is coming from the top. This is coming from the DNC, and the DNC sends out, okay, this is the email, update the email, and then send that out to them. This is the new talking point. This is the new angle. This is the new argument. Send that out to the influencers. They pick up the phone, they look at it, they say, okay, guys, and then that's their new talking point. That's their new angle. That's the new issue. These people are actors. These people don't believe in that. This and if they're trying to get the bag. Shout out to my BX. BX says, she sends a super chat saying 1.1K, 1.1 thousand people in the chat, and only 502 likes. Come on, B1 FBA family, get them up. Share, hit that share button, subscribe button too. Thank you, BX. Thank you so very much. Yeah, come on. Let's get this. Let's get these likes up. Let's get these likes up. We close. We close, y'all. We close to about 1,300 right here. Come on, y'all. Let's get these likes up. Now, getting back to the fear mongering, because boy, oh boy, they fear mongering. They trying to get us to act all afraid and all of that stuff. Oh my God, it's sad. Y'all, look at this.
Days from now.
Okay, look at this, y'all.
30 days from now, birthright citizenship is ending in 20 states. He's about to become a dictator. So I want to think again to the MAGA who voted for him. Now we all got a problem, because now we all deportable, because birthright citizenship.
Look, man, all of this French speak, I don't speak French. Okay, all of this, we all, who is we and all? We all, you talking to your family? What you talking about? Some we all. I'm not deportable. We all just, I guess you're going back to France, because we are not deportable. Talking about, yeah, now we look, no, this and there. They got us, guys. We are gonna get deported. We looking like, huh? We? Who is us? Who is we? They got us. All of us are going to get deported. We are all leaving. Us and we and all. I don't know what he's speaking a foreign language to me. No, oh yeah, it looked like we all, but we, man, no. He gonna be surprised. He the only one gonna be on that ship. He gonna be he's saying we all going, and he gonna be the only one. Him and his cousin gonna be the only one on the plane going back home. He was like, what the hell? Talk about some we.
Now we all got a problem because now we all deportable because birthright citizenship clearly means anybody born in the U.S. is not a citizen anymore. So everybody got a problem. So everybody's deportable. And that's
what do we do, man? Okay, all right now. See, I don't know if the DNC is paying. Normally, they don't pay folks like him. He just doing it because he's scared. Because he don't even sound like he know what he talking about. He don't sound like he reading the prompt. He sound like this man is just literally scared.
going to create a huge issue in this country if we all don't say something. Trump is becoming a dictator and becoming a tyrant in the world. The people that we used to go to war against, World War I, World War II, now we are becoming those types. And we're hurting our own government, our own president is hurting our own people. The same guy who says we never do anything for America, that wants to make America great again.
No, man, ain't no we. Come on now. All of this fear mongering, that's not working. And that's why he's all like, yeah, we got to say something. When he's saying that, he means us. He wants foundational Black Americans to get out there and start advocating against this. That's what he wants. That's why we need to say something. We need to address this. No, we don't. No, we do not. As a matter of fact, if anything, y'all don't want us to, because we really being quiet about it. Y'all really don't want us to say nothing about it because we would be on the other side of the fence on this issue. You got folks out here, and the fear mongering still continues. Hold on. This is one thing. Hold on. There's one video. Letting the computer pull it up. Hold on. Here we go. Here it is. And all right, it's coming up. Look at this.
These FBAs in my comment clearly lack critical thinking skills because that original video was in reference to me talking about how the ICE raids affect all Black people as well. This is not just a Latino issue. This is a Black people issue, but it's been made very clear that y'all don't give a fuck about Black immigrants. But the cute.
Let me address that. The whole y'all don't care about Black immigrants and all of a sudden y'all hate Black immigrants and all of that stuff. Let me address that. Let's nip this in the bud. Okay, let's put this to bed. We're gonna put this to bed. Okay. And we're gonna discuss our issue with the diaspora. Okay, just real quick. Then we're gonna get back to the video. Y'all stick with me. We have been fighting against our government, against oppression, against slave masters, against racism for centuries, okay? With really no help. You've had folks here and there, they have helped. No, and we're not going to disrespect, we've had people who've come and they've helped. The thing is that we had always thought that other immigrants, especially from the diaspora, are going to come in and they're going to be our reinforcement. That's because that's what would make sense. It does make sense. It's not wrong for us to have thought that, because it makes sense. It adds up. Now, what we've learned, and this is not just the diaspora, but all of the immigrant communities, not one individual. I don't want you to name one individual or two, because we've had a few of them. Don't get me wrong. But as the community of immigrants, they've come over here and they've been all like, hey, man, we is not on that. We are not on that. Okay. And we've been on like, okay, y'all supposed to be back. And like I was saying with CARICOM, y'all should be back in our play. We expecting y'all, we recruiting y'all for y'all to back our play. They come over here and they be all like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with none of what y'all got going on. Collectively, they've tried to distance themselves from us, say, hey, we ain't like them. We are different from them. We got a different culture. We got a different. The community has done that. Ever so often, you'll have a rider who will trickle out the trenches, and they'll rock with us, and that's cool. And we got love and respect for them, but they've been on that. So now it's all like, okay, we got to keep the mission going. We got to keep this. We got to keep this mission going, okay? Because what we have been doing is we've been saying, okay, we will fight for y'all rights, even if it doesn't benefit us. We're fighting for it because y'all are partners, y'all are allies. So we was out there fighting for immigration rights and stuff like that. We were out there fighting for immigration rights and stuff like that off of the strength of an alliance, okay? Because we thinking, okay, you scratch I scratch your back, you scratch mine, okay? So even though it wasn't benefiting us, it was benefiting them, and we was like, okay, these are partners, so we got to ride with them. And we realized, okay, we were riding with them, and then when it's their turn to ride with us, they say, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Let's tell the truth. We got to tell the truth and shame the devil. That's the only way you're going to fix problems, is by telling the truth. So this has been our relationship with immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, Asian immigrants, Black immigrants, all of them. This has been our relationship with them. It's like if we could use, you guys know how maybe at work or at school or something like that, you guys would have a potluck or something where you would bring like, oh, if I'm bringing, if I'm going to get some chicken, I'm gonna bring enough chicken for everybody. If I'm bringing some pop or some dessert or something, I'm gonna bring enough for everybody, and everybody gets to eat off of the food I brought to the table. That's what we've been on. We've been bringing food to the table, and everybody's been eating off of the food that we brought to the table. And what they bring to the table is just for them. We will bring trays of food. They will bring a plate and say, this is my plate, while eating off of our plate. They will say, hey, let me grab this real quick. Hold on. Thank you. They eating off us. We can't touch their stuff. Okay. So that's been going on for generations and generations and generations. So at this point, we're looking at immigration collectively as, okay, since y'all kept arguing that y'all on y'all own and y'all got your own stuff going on, we just gonna have our stuff going on. So now we're cutting the spigot off. So can't nobody eat off our plate like that no more. So us sitting up there taking our time, energy, resources, and efforts to fight on other people's behalf is over with. And don't make it seem like this is across the board. That's why the Hispanics is sitting up there tripping. They sitting up there like, hold on, they're Black and brown. Where was y'all at? Black and brown. The Palestinians was sitting up there like, hey, Black folk, ain't y'all normally out here. Y'all the first ones out here. Where are y'all at? Everybody else who's having an issue right now, and it's a lot of people having issues right now. Everybody who's having the issue right now is sitting up there looking like, I'm checking the attendance and I don't see Foundation Black Americans nowhere here. What's going on? Everybody is learning that. Ain't nobody eating off of us no more. Okay? Because when we needed help, we didn't see none of y'all out there. So, okay, cool. It took us some time to learn. Okay, if that's the page we own, then that's the page we own. Because y'all not there for our interest, but y'all want us to be there for your interest, even though it's not benefiting us. That's why they keep trying to make it seem like ICE is our issue. It's not our issue. It's y'all issue. Okay, it's y'all issue. First off, y'all not supposed to be here illegally. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but y'all not supposed to be out here illegally. But what we're not gonna do is align ourselves or ally ourselves based off of your convenience. No, okay. Y'all have not been putting in, so y'all can't take out. That's just all it is. That's all it is. It's business. This ain't personal. This ain't personal. This is business. Okay? You get what you put in. Y'all ain't been putting no skin in the game. Real talk. Y'all have not been putting no skin in the game. And then when y'all want folk to ride for y'all, y'all get surprised when nobody show up. Sorry. And this goes for everybody. What we are doing now is because we've been ignoring it and allowing other people's interests to supersede ours. We're saying no more of that. We're saying, you know what our interest is what we are going to be focused on. Anything else is a distraction. Okay. If y'all watched The Wiz, the movie, y'all seen, what they say, stay on the yellow brick road. When you leave the yellow brick road, you're going to get distracted. You're going to lose your path. What we doing, we staying on that yellow brick road. That's what we doing. Everything else is a distraction. What's going on in Gaza? Distraction. What's going on with ICE? Distraction. What's going on over here? Distraction. What's going on over there? Distraction. We focus on exactly what we need to be focused on right now. And because we're not hitting the brakes and jumping out the car to save y'all feeling some type of way. No, this not hate. No, this ain't that. This ain't that. Okay. Y'all, there was an agenda for you guys, for us fighting for you guys to come here in the first place. Y'all got here and then y'all said, you know what, we're gonna do us. All of this teaming up and all that stuff, that's not what we're gonna be doing. And this has been an issue for a long time. Okay. You talk about Jamaica, you talk about Africa, you talk about all these places. These communities been saying, look, we gonna do us. We is not concerned with everybody else. Okay. All right. Y'all gonna have to stick to it then. Okay, so now you got to eat off your own plate. And y'all don't got nothing. So it's cool. It's cool. Don't take it personal. We didn't.
Little amendment that gave formerly enslaved people citizenship after the Emancipation Proclamation was the 14th Amendment. And, you know, Trump is pushing to overturn the 14th Amendment, the same amendment that gave me.
Okay. And notice the words they're using. They're using overturn. He's going to overturn the 14th Amendment. He's going to, that's not, no. And we already know that. And notice they keep using that because that comes from the DNC. They're all using the same verbiage to say, oh, that comes from the DNC, overturn, cancel, destroy, get rid, like, yeah, all of that, those words, those trigger words come from the DNC. Keep that in mind.
A child of immigrant.
Why are y'all making fun of her head? Why are y'all doing that? Why are y'all saying she looked like Megamind? Why are y'all saying she looks like a big alien? Why are y'all saying that her head looks like a big bean? Why are y'all saying she looks like a bobblehead? Why are y'all saying that about her? Why are y'all saying this woman looks like a bobblehead? Why are y'all? That is so mean. That is so mean. Why are y'all saying she looks like an intergalactic alien? That is so mean. I'm not saying it. Y'all saying it. I can't understand it. I can't. Why are y'all saying she looks like a cartoon character? That is mean. Oh my God. Come on now.
Birthright citizenship, and every single Black American in this country citizenship, because they were born in this country, right? If they over.
Why are y'all saying, what? Stop saying this about her, okay? Why are y'all saying that looks like an adult head on a baby body? Why are y'all saying that about this? Y'all come on now. Come on now. Now y'all saying she looked like a light bulb. I can't, but y'all stop it. That is, y'all come on. Y'all so mean. Why y'all saying it looked like she thinking about a lot? Why y'all saying it looked like she got a lot on her mind? Okay. Why y'all saying it looked like she got a lot on her shoulders? She got a heavy weight on her shoulders. Why y'all saying that about her? Come on now. Y'all saying she looked like Tweety Bird. Oh my God, I can't. I'm done. I'm done. I can't do that. This
Turn that shit, none of us are citizens.
let's get back. I'm gonna rewind it.
Amendment that gave me, a child of immigrant, a birthright citizenship, and every single Black American in this country citizenship because they were born in this country, right? If they overturn that shit, none of us are citizens. Okay? I might be a guest. Okay? I might not be Black American, but guess what? If the 14th Amendment goes, you and I go. Both of us go. And if you don't believe me, watch.
No. And then notice they keep saying that. First off, if the 14th Amendment goes, it's not going nowhere. But if the 14th Amendment goes, you and I going. No, me and you ain't going nowhere. They keep trying to frame it like, oh, they got us. They about to get us. They about to catch us. They are not catching me for nothing. They are not getting me. No, don't. Oh, they found us, guys. Okay, well, goodbye. That's they are not getting us. They're not deporting us anywhere, and they keep trying to create some type of. If the 14th Amendment goes, okay, they're gonna get rid of you. So you need to fight for my right to stay here. Okay, no, you are not gonna finesse me to fight for your cause. That's not beneficial to me at all. No, thank you. No, they keep trying to frame it like, man, but we all out of here. They bucking down. We all about to go back to Africa or somewhere. I don't know where you going. I know where I'm going, but we all about to leave. No, we not about to go nowhere. God.
Really here. Birthright citizenship. Supreme Court gives Trump a win. What does that mean? The Supreme Court lifted a temporary ban on Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship for children of unlawfully or temporarily, children of parents unlawfully or temporarily in the United States. Trump celebrated to win as a victory, while others argue that it contradicts the 14th Amendment. So when I said these ICE raids and immigration rights is a Black issue, I wasn't being hyperbolic, okay? Because yes, am I thinking about Black immigrants? Absolutely. But I'm also thinking about Black Americans in this country who's been here for generations on generations and generations. If they overturn that 14th Amendment, there's no proof that you're a citizen. There's literally none. There's no argument why you should be given a birthright citizenship over me.
Are you cool? There's no, they honestly are literally trying to convince themselves that there is no difference between us and them. They are like literally trying to convince themselves and make the arguments that there is just no legal difference between us and them. No, the 14th Amendment was about us. Y'all are exploiting that. We are in totally different lanes as far as that. There's no proof that y'all citizens, ma'am. I got proof all through my damn lineage. All through one part of my family. You can name your father's side, your dad, your mama's side. And we got proof all up and through that we are citizens here, that we have documented paperwork and citizenship that is legal. Our standing here is 100% legit. All of that, man, come on, man, no. They ain't going to be able to, there's no argument that you can make that I couldn't make. You got here 2 years ago. What are you talking about? Your grandma wasn't born here. My grandma's grandma was born here. Okay? Your grandma's still back in Somalia or wherever you from. Okay? Your parents barely speak English. Okay? They got thick accents driving the taxi. Come on, I'm not trying to be mean, but come on. I'm really not trying to be mean, but let's be real. I'm trying to be real. There's no argument. What are you talking about? ICE comes knocking at the door. We're looking and say, hey, who is it? What y'all want? ICE come knocking at the door. Y'all running out the back. We are not the same.
Or over an Afro Puerto Rican who's been in New York for, actually that's a bad example because Puerto Rico is literally a property of the United States. Like Afro Panamanian in New York whose parents were born there and they were born there. Nobody's going to have citizenship. They're going to pick and choose who they consider citizen. And the difference between, if anything, this should scare you more, because I am privileged enough that if the worst case scenario happens and they overturn the 14th Amendment, I have somewhere to go back to. Black Americans, unfortunately, will not have that privilege because they've been here for 10, 15 generations. They're going to literally create a population of people who have no state, a stateless people, which is exactly what Israel is doing to the Palestinian people. So when I say all of our struggles are interconnected, I was not joking. If you decide to look at things that only affect you, nothing is ever going to fundamentally change. If anything, things are going to get worse.
No. We're not gonna be stateless people. We're not going nowhere. It's like, where they gonna send you? They ain't gonna send me nowhere. That's why. You just explained. We've been here for 10 some. We've been here decades deep. Our generations is decades deep in this country. Okay, there's nowhere we're going. You talk about us being stateless. We're not gonna be stateless. And then talk about, yeah, our issues are interconnected. So we shouldn't argue or fight for anything that's only gonna benefit you. No. See, that's our problem. That's why we're changing that, because we've been fighting and we've been saying it doesn't matter if it benefits us. We're looking out for everybody. Okay, because we've been thinking that we are all this big team. We've been honestly believing that we all this team, and we've been understanding, we've been learning the hard way. Oh no, y'all really not a part of the team like that. We recruited y'all and bought y'all in, but y'all got your own little agenda. They and all of them have come here with their own agenda, being all like, hey man, all that teaming up, all that fighting white supremacy, all that stuff is not what we came here for. They are letting it be known abundantly clear, okay, of all these immigrants, okay, not just the ones from the diaspora, Asians, Hispanics, Arabs, they've all come here saying white supremacy. I don't see no white supremacy. I'm here for money. Okay, they all said that. I'm not here to fight nobody. I'm not here to change no laws, fight for no rights, no nothing. Y'all got that. Okay, I'm over here doing my thing, and I'm not trying to rock the boat. They are literally not trying to rock the boat. Cool, fine. We not tripping. Cool. Okay. So if that's the case, now, when y'all got problems, now y'all want us to come over like, hey, come on, this is our fight. Now, time to fight, guys. And we sitting up there like, no, you know, we don't want to rock the boat. How about that? That's not our problem. We just here to just make our money and just keep it pushing. That's just, I mean, we see the wisdom in your strategy. We see the wisdom in your play. So we're just gonna replicate what you guys have been doing. Y'all don't want to rock the boat. Y'all don't want to make nobody mad. Y'all want to stay by yourselves, and y'all want to get it how you live, and y'all want to live in your own little secluded enclaves and stuff like that. You know what? That makes sense. How about that? How about that? That makes sense. Well, so we're going to do the same thing. Okay? We just going to do the same thing. All of this is all of our issue. No. Okay? You are not going to sit up here and try to deceive us into believing that this is our problem. It's not. Okay? Because you're doing this because when you say, okay, it's our issue, but we want you to fight for us, then we're going to pull up the damn paperwork and being all like, okay, when it was time to go to war with white supremacy, I'm looking at the attendance sheet and your name was never on there. So what's going on? See, that's the thing. We are so thorough with the paperwork right now. We looking at everybody's attendance like a teacher. And you know how teachers grade people based off of their attendance and stuff like that. You might be, yeah, okay, you wasn't here on class, or you were late, you wasn't here. They call your name. Remember how teachers used to do that? They would call your name. They'd be all like, Tom is here, Chris, Michael, Nicole, Tiffany. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and you would say present, you would say here, you'd say here. Some people raise their hand here. They call you, they be like, Foundation Black Americans here. Okay. Hispanics. Okay, not here. Asians. Okay, not here. Somalians. Okay, not here. So, oh yeah, we've been doing that. So then when we look back at the paperwork and we sitting up there being all like, hey, if we grading y'all, and it looked like y'all never showed up for nothing. We was there every single day, every single fight, every single time. We looking at y'all's attendance is looking scarce, if not none. We surprised y'all didn't get dropped out the class. Oh yeah, so now when y'all getting that F grade, y'all looking at y'all paperwork coming back, and y'all sitting up there got to return y'all paperwork, your report card came back, and you got an F. You sitting up there arguing what happened. Oh yeah, you was never in class. You were never in class. So we marked you as ditching the class, so you had to drop. We kicked you out the class. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't show up to class. That's what happened when you don't show up to work. Okay? You don't get, none of us, we are all adults, and we don't feel like, you know what? I'm just going to not show up for 1 week of my job. You can be at your job for years. Imagine if you no call, no show for a week. You're fired. You have a whole week, Monday through Friday. You say, you know what? I'm just not going to show up this week. You are fired. Oh, I'm moving my damn microphone. Hold on. Yeah. I'm hitting the desk. Been working out, y'all. I'm strong as hell. I'm sitting up there moving my microphone. Look, anyway, you're fired. Yeah, you're fired. You are fired. You are not going, yeah. You can't come back and be all like, no, what about all the other times? All of the other times don't matter. None of that stuff matter. You need to show consistent attendance. And we looking at your attendance, and we do not see nothing nearly resembling no consistency. So yeah, you're fired, and that's what it is. Okay? Y'all should have been riding with us the whole time through. Everything we needed, y'all should have been all like, hey man, let me know what y'all need. If you need anything, y'all need anything, let me know. Y'all was not like that. We picking up the phone, it was going straight to voicemail. Okay. All right then. And then when it comes to folks getting their report cards back, and we the only one with an A+, y'all be acting confused. Y'all be acting like somebody did y'all wrong, and all of this is all bad and evil. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're not gonna do that. But guess who's come back? Yeah, guess who's come back? He's come back not on YouTube, because I scared him off YouTube, but we got the coward Lee. We got Lee. Lee is back, and Lee has something to say. So here go Lee, and we all know Lee is a shield for the Democrats. He's got pictures at little events and parties and all of that stuff, and all. Yeah. So Lee is a shield for the Democrats. It's already obvious. It's known at this point. By this point, it's already super known. But Lee is back.
White conservatives is not considering this child an anchor baby. Education is elevation, and let's get into the conservative contradictions of everything they say about immigration. For instance, do y'all know that Melania Trump's visa was questioned in a congressional hearing this January 2025? You want to know why? Melania Trump was a college dropout who arrived in the United States on an Einstein visa. Get this though, the visa is reserved for people with extraordinary ability and sustained international acclaim, such as a Pulitzer, Oscar, Olympic winners. But listen, Barron was born March 20th, 2006. Melania became a U.S. citizen July 28th, 2006. Trump wants to end birthright citizenship when his own child.
Notice the words. They keep saying end, cancel, destroy, get rid of that. And we went through the executive order. That's not what's going on.
Is a product.
But he got his message from the DNC like the rest of them.
Of birthright citizenship. We can question a Mexican-American citizen for marrying an undocumented Mexican. Oh yeah, we got to be able to question when Europeans do the same thing, or no? Oh my mama, think about it. There are 666,000 illegal immigrants in the United States from European countries. The vast majority of them are white. Yet you don't see a single one of them have their children stripped away from them, raided, locked up in cages. And we all know why. You know, equal protection under the law has always been a myth, and the word immigration has always been a code word for unwanted color people. They ain't worried about their child being kidnapped. They ain't worried about dropping Barron off at school or in college and him being kidnapped by masked agents. Elon Musk worked in the United States illegally in 1995 after quitting his school job. I feel like if a Haitian immigrant came over here and worked illegally and ended up amassing a whole bunch of wealth, they would find everything to be illegitimate because you started off illegal.
You know what's interesting? He's absolutely correct about that. I give credit where credit is due. He's not telling a lie about Elon Musk at all. Elon Musk did break immigration laws. He did. He violated that. What's interesting about that, though, is that a lot of his money came from the government. And a lot of the people who gave him his money and was helping him out were actually the Democratic Party. So if you're going to tell the truth, and you're not wrong that he broke immigration laws. Oh, no. You're not wrong. But let's remember who was subsidizing Tesla and all of his other things. He was getting a lot of subsidies for under the Democratic Party when he was cool with them before he, went over and bought Twitter and all of that stuff and started helping out Trump or whatever the case is. Yeah, they understood he was breaking the law and they let him do it. Okay. So yeah, Donald Trump, of course we know Donald Trump is biased, but so are the Democrats. So don't put Elon Musk. Elon Musk is more of the Democratic creation than he is of Trump. They were the ones subsidizing him more. If we're going to if you're going to tell the truth, tell the whole truth. Don't tell a little bit to create some type of story or angle or narrative. Don't do that now. Come on, tell the whole truth.
Pay attention to the language too, y'all. So Donald Trump's grandfather was an illegal migrant and a Trojan horse, which means that Donald Trump's parents is a product of being what they call a tether baby, an anchor baby, a birthright citizenship. To the people on this side, they do not believe that the Second Amendment only applies to muskets. So you believe the 13th Amendment only applies to descendants of slaves? It's stupid. Which brings me to another point. When these folks want to distance themselves from everybody that benefited from slavery, they love to tell you about their proud immigrant background and how their parents, their people, immigrated over to America after slavery. So they don't really apply to them, but they believe they have every right to benefit from all the rights and liberties that American citizens are supposed to get. Think about it. When we learn about Ellis Island and the American curriculum, it is always celebrated as being why America is so great. Everybody has access to the American dream, except for the folks south of the border, huh?
No. And to be honest, Hispanics the ones who need to be upset with this because y'all keep making it seem like people can't come over legally. Nobody is saying that if you're Hispanic, you can't come to America or you can't become a citizen. Nobody is saying if you're not a European, you can't become a citizen. Nobody is making that argument. The argument, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that is being made is that you're not going to be able to exploit the law. The people he's referencing, and I'm not here to defend those people, but the people he's referencing, they didn't come over like, hey, we're going to have a baby in 2 months. We're not going to tell them you pregnant, but you about 7 months pregnant. So we're going to kind of hide under the radar and you're going to have a baby. And then, we finessed the system. They didn't come over here doing that. That's what a lot of these other groups of people are doing. So he's making it seem like people being all like, okay, well, white immigrants are good. Everybody else isn't good. No, that's not what's happening. And they keep construing the story and they're remixing it into making it seem like this is some type of racial or ethnic discrimination. Of course, there's going to be bias, but to be honest, all of them need to go because this is not the way none of this is supposed to be going on. This is not the way none of this is supposed to be going on. How much longer we got of this? He's been going on for a minute. Talking about this stuff. We're going to fast forward a little bit. I appreciate the super chats. I'm going to get to y'all in a second. We're going to fast forward a little bit, and then we got some other stuff to play. You don't play. Okay. Well, if you don't want us to play, then I guess we're just going to move on then. Something going on. But it's okay. We're going to move on from that. That's all right. Because he was pretty much done talking about, yeah, this bias, this bias, this bias, but we cool. We not worried. We not being fear-mongered or nothing like that. And because of that, you got a whole bunch of people are furious at foundational Black Americans. They mad. A lot of them is big mad at FBA. Look at this.
How like Cubans think they're exceptional, like white people won't look at them like they look at all the other Latinos, and they think they have like this privilege that the rest of them don't have. I feel like foundational Black Americans are the Cubans of the Black community. I was reading this post.
He feels like foundational Black Americans are the Cubans. So where he pretty much feels like is Cubans, it's a thing in the Hispanic community where Cubans damn near think that they just white. They don't even think that they think that they're special. So what he's saying is he feels like we feel like we're more white adjacent than the rest of the diaspora. Okay. All right, then that's how he feels. That's how he feels we feel. That's not the case. Okay, let's hold on. Let's continue. Oh, wait. Just turn back. Come on now.
Just about how Haitians are now being deported and how they're going to be targeted. And I'm looking at the comments and I see foundational Black Americans, people who are claiming they're foundational Black Americans, that they're good. There's nothing, they have nothing to worry about. And I just think like, you are such a dumb motherfucker because you look just like me. I'm not Haitian, by the way, but you just look like me. You look like the Haitian that's going to get deported. We look alike. You think these white people are going to look at you and be like, oh, he's not Haitian. He's a foundational Black American. No! They're going to see your black ass and take your ass to a prison and then deport your dumb ass.
No, look at that. They mad. He lashed out, didn't he? He lashed out. He was mad. He kind of crashed out a little bit. They go deport your dumb ass because you look Haitian. Okay. And if y'all seen the For the Culture channel, y'all been saying, Afro, you look kind of Puerto Rican to me. You look like, no, somebody said, I'm Dominican and you look like me. I'm like, I am not Dominican. I am not Dominican. And everybody knows I'm not Dominican. Nobody talks to me and be, when we speak, you can tell we not Dominican. We have a different energy and a different vibe. And now this ain't to shame nobody or even to be mean, but we are not Dominican or Haitian or nothing like that. We don't even move or think or act the same. And we don't be around the same circles like that, to be very honest with you. ICE is not going to sit up there and be all like, do you think he look Haitian to you? Did he look Haitian to you? Oh, okay, grab him. That's not how they move. That's not how they move. Y'all been saying that for the last 6 months that we are going to be deported. For the last 6 months, ain't none of us been deported. Ain't none of us been deported. And y'all keep saying they gonna grab you because you look like you Dominican and you Haitian and you look like, oh, okay. When has that happened? That has not happened. Y'all sitting up there y'all mad at us for minding our business. We are minding our business. Y'all mad at us for that, and we don't care. And because we don't care, now y'all saying we hateful and we this and we that. Look at this.
Foundational Black Americans.
Now, before we go into it, to touch on this,
like Cubans think.
He claims he's not Haitian. He claims he's not Haitian, but notice he didn't tell you where he was from. He's talking about foundational Black Americans as if we're another group. So I assume he's not FBA. If I was a betting man, I would bet the whole farm that he's not FBA, but he didn't tell you where he was from, though. Just keep that in mind. They'd be like, I'm not Haitian. Trinidadian. Like, okay, yeah, same thing. Y'all, you're not FBA. That's the point.
Stuff, and stay with me now. The stuff sounds cool on the surface.
Hold on.
The foundational Black American stuff, and stay with me now. The stuff sounds cool on the surface, but a lot of the times y'all get real xenophobic with it and real supremacist with it, and that be the issue.
Okay, so now they're out here saying that we're getting xenophobic and we're acting like quote unquote supremacist. Okay, let's listen to this.
Because it's cool on the surface that Black people can name themselves instead of being.
Mind you, he has a Black American heritage flag in his background. So based off of that, you would assume that he's FBA. Now here's the thing. He could be from one of his parents, and another one of his parents might not be. And we got to be careful with that. We got to be very careful with that, because, and this is the thing, I was saying this before, you are not responsible for who your parents are, how you were born. I can't control what ethnicity my parents are, or where my parents gave birth to, where my mother gave birth to me. I can't control that. Nobody's blaming you for that. That's not, and that don't make you a good person or a bad person. It don't make you bad. But what we have been noticing is that when people have dual ethnicities, which means when your father is one thing from one ethnicity and your mother is from a different ethnicity, in these situations, when your father is FBA or your mother is FBA and your other parent, father or mother, is non-FBA, you tend to have, in this situation, they would call that bi-ethnic or whatever the case is. You will have, even if you're part FBA or half FBA, often you'll have a dual allegiance. And we're noticing that, which compromises you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That compromises you, because now when it comes to immigration, you're going to have an emotional, not a logical, emotional attachment to immigration. And that's going to determine how you view the situation and what you do. Because you're looking at it like, man, my dad is FBA, my mom is FBA, but I don't want my other half of the family to go through this deportation. So yeah, you're going to get on the front lines, or you're going to be compromised. You're not going to push the needle the way we need you to, because you got a dual allegiance, because half of your family is from some other land, some other country. So this is why we be asking, okay, your family all FBA? Because a lot of them, and we've been experiencing this a lot of them will sit up there and be all like, oh yeah, I'm FBA. Okay. And then sometimes we'll hear at FBA, they'll pay real hard for immigration, like abnormally hard. And then we got to look like, okay, where are both your parents from? Okay. Oh yeah, your dad is from Chicago, but your mom, oh, okay. And that's how that makes sense now. So you got this allegiance. Now, it could be that he might have an allegiance because he got a non-FBA girlfriend, whatever the case may be. But note, this is why we're noticing all of that stuff, because we notice people who come in and we firmly heading in one direction, and then somebody tries to come in and grab the steering wheel and turn us a little bit. And we like, hey, why are you trying to get us to go in a different direction? And then we look at your background and it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. So yeah, what I'm saying, I said all of that to say, don't let the Black American heritage flag fool you, because he might be Black American on one side, but that doesn't guarantee he is on the other side. Okay.
Constantly covered in a social tar that other can name themselves, instead of being constantly covered in a social tar that other people will use to burn us with. It's like, okay, we name ourselves, we establish our culture. This is us doing our thing. This is not the hand-me-downs of someone else. You could perceive it that way. obviously you can disagree. I'm just trying to speak light on the subject of black supremacy, foundational blackness, and xenophobia. But the labels, you know, ADOS, FBA, SOLAN, like, it sounds cool because black people can name themselves. But then niggas start getting into social roots and shit. They start talking about something like, yeah, you ain't black, you from somewhere else, you from... And the whole time, you talking to a motherfucker from the diaspora. So, like, they got their own shit going on. Like, they done suffered too. Black Americans not the only niggas that suffer. And I'm not trying to say that to diminish what we've gone through, but a lot of y'all use this as a way to diminish the plight of other people.
No. And notice they're saying that. Notice the guy before, the guy, notice this is coming from the DNC. This is why I'm saying that, because when we see a thing from the DNC, we got to know what it is. We got to call it out so we can counter it. Notice now the whole thing is FBA. Y'all starting to sound like white supremacists. Conscious Lee was saying that. All of this stuff is coming from the top, because notice they're all starting to say this now. Oh, this sound like xenophobia. Y'all sound like white supremacists. Y'all sound like black supremacists. They were saying that about Beyonce a couple of days ago. Notice that all of them, when we have pride in our lineage, notice that all of them are kind of simultaneously saying the same exact thing. Fat Joe was even saying that. Oh, yeah, y'all don't like nobody who not like you. Notice that? Oh, no. We're not out here saying that nobody in the world has gone through anything. Nobody, we've never made that argument. What we're saying is that we are in America and we have a different fight in this country. Y'all fight is somewhere else. Our fight is here. And y'all come here and y'all don't help us at all. Okay? Y'all not on our page at all. Okay, there's no alliance. We're not gonna pretend that there is. Our fight is uniquely here. I'm not going to South Africa and talking about apartheid and as if I'm a part of that, as if that's my lineage. That's their lineage. Now I would go there and I would back their play, okay, because that's the right thing to do. But then they come over here and they ain't trying to back my play, okay. I'm not going to Haiti and talking about, hey, I got an issue too. I was in America. No, they're talking about the French and they're talking about their slavery in the French. And we should be if you in their land, you should be backing their play. That's what we're saying. If we go anywhere else in the world, whether that's in Africa, we're talking about apartheid, whether we're talking about colonialism, if we go to the Caribbean, we're talking about slavery or whatever the case is, we would say, okay, well, this is what the natives are facing with. This is their play. This is their direction. We should be reinforcing them. Okay, that's the right thing to do. They come over here and say, hey, we cool. So that's the problem. Okay, and since they say, hey, we cool, okay, so this is the play, and we just not gonna let y'all even have no word in it then. Since y'all don't want to back us up, we just gonna keep it pushing then. Okay, and y'all want to talk about y'all plights and stuff like that as if that gives you guys leverage to determine how we move. That's the problem. That's the problem, because they bring up their grievance and their issues as if they should have some right to veto our direction or some right to kind of weigh in. Like this should be some type of democracy where we all get to collectively determine where we go. Oh, no. This is our land. We fought for it. We're the foundational Black Americans. You either get on board or you not getting on no ship. This is SSFBA. Okay, we are the captains here. If you gonna get on our ship, you gonna work with the crew. You gonna do what the captain say do. We the captains of the ship now. Okay, you do what the captain says, or you get off the ship. But you don't sit up there as a crew member. You get on the SSFBA and then talk about we need to lift this sail and we need to turn this ship and we need to drop this anchor. Oh no! Hold on! No, get your hand off the steering wheel. Get your hand off the steering wheel. Don't touch that. That's for the captain. We the captains here. Don't touch the steering wheel. Okay, get back in the engine room. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be reinforcing what the captain is supposed to be doing. We the ones determine where we need to be going. Yeah, we get y'all been through some hardship, and that's cool. And you know what? We hope for the best. Okay, but when you're on the SSFBA, when you're on SS Foundational Black American, you do what the captain says. If you do not want to do what the captain says, you need to get off the ship. Point blank, period. That's it. That's all. You know what? We not gonna make you. This ain't no slave ship now. We ain't gonna make you do nothing. You don't want to do what the captain says, get off the ship. Okay? But I want you to know, if you get off this ship and a storm coming through, we not circling back to get you. That's all we saying. That's the only thing we saying. Okay? The weather looking you see the clouds getting kind of dark now. Okay? You get off this ship, we not circling back to get you. So they've been on like, hey man, we don't need to be on your ship, and now the storm coming and y'all want us to circle back and sit up there and drop a lifeboat. No. If y'all on our ship, and it's the same thing. If we was on the SS Jamaica, SS Haiti, SS Nigeria, if we was on their ship, we would sit up there and be all like, okay, what we got going on? What you need us to do, Captain? Okay, y'all the captains of the ship. We here to help y'all out. Let's get this done. Okay, that's what we would do, and that's what we have done. We've done that with everybody else. We've helped everybody else. We've backed everybody else's play up. Okay? We sent up there, was fighting against apartheid, and we was fighting alongside the Ethiopians. We was helping Ethiopia so they wouldn't get colonized. We've been backing everybody else's play. We've been the best team members, the best crew members, the best of everybody. We've been reinforcing everybody else. And now when it comes to our stuff, y'all don't want to get on board. Okay. But don't sit up there and call us a supremacist because we have a standard. Oh, no. Because we're not being exploited by y'all no more, which is what y'all really, really want. Y'all want us to be exploited, and we're not doing that no more. Okay? The same rules that we've been following to us for y'all, the same rules y'all gonna be following for us. Don't call us no supremacists like we doing something crazy or something evil. Because when you say that, you're framing it as if we're doing something evil.
Gone through, but a lot of y'all use this as a way to diminish the plight of other people. Being foundational black, does that not sound problematic already?
How? That's a fact. That's a historical fact. What are you talking about? Does that not sound problematic? We said foundational black American. We are foundational black Americans. We are the foundation. We are the black Americans who are the foundation of America. It's very self-explanatory. We're not going to sit and we have to do that because everybody and their mama sitting up there making it seem like we all equally contributed to America. And that's not the case. So we got to do this so we can take claim to what our ancestors actually did. No, all that stolen valor, man, that sound kind of divisive. You calling yourself a foundation, that sound kind of bad. No. That is history told correctly and accurately.
Because the issue with being black is that you don't get to have a foundation. It's almost like an oxymoron. Because the black Americans you find in America are obviously an overlap of many different groups and ethnicities. And so foundational black kind of just makes a supremacist monolith.
No. There's a lot of admixture in many FBAs, but we're the lineage. See, that's why it's not about no percentage and all that. That's why I don't like people doing it. Where's your percentage? No. Our lineage has always been consistent. The lineage is consistent. We are from the same lineage. Our lineage has not changed. We are all from the same lineage. Anybody from outside the lineage is from outside the lineage. We're not going to play. Not going to act like that's a lie, like that's not true. You are from outside of the lineage. No, come on now. Don't that sound like that's divisive? No, it's not divisive. It's not mean. It's not wrong. It's not evil.
I hope that makes sense. Like, as somebody with, the sword and wreath heritage tat, like, I don't think I'm greater than another nigga from, like, Jamaica, Africa, or some random like black Chinese dude. Like, hey, if you not racist to me, I'm not gonna have no issues with you. Like, and we both dark skinned, so we can have something to talk about. Cause niggas get weird about that. But my roots matter to me because it's important to know my story. But that does not make me, my story don't make me greater than somebody else. This foundational black
it's not about being greater than somebody else. This is not about us being greater than nobody else and us thinking we bigger and better than nobody else. You know, I mean, you can make that argument. But this is not about that. This is about whose land is this? Whose fight is this? This is not, we keep making it seem like we on an even playing field. No, y'all came here. We didn't go there. Y'all came here. Y'all came to where our ancestors built the country. We didn't go to where y'all ancestors built the country. Y'all came here. That's the difference. Okay? So over here, this is SSFBA. We are the captains of the ship, the captains, the co-captains, the marshals, the commanders, whatever you want to call it. Okay? We the ones in control, the generals, whatever you want to call it. So over here, yes, we are leading the movement here. To be very totally honest, we're leading the movement globally, because we're the ones who's waking stuff up globally speaking. But yeah, we are the ones who are in charge. Yeah, a movement needs people in charge, if y'all didn't know that. And we're the community who's leading the way. Because America is we've been fighting this beast for hundreds of years. Okay? It's not like we better, but we don't come to nobody else's country and being all like, hey, I don't see why you in charge. That's like going to somebody's house and saying, I don't see why you in charge. Hold on, let me find something to throw at you. You come to my house and I'm not in charge? You get to come to my house because I'll unlock the door and let you in and I'm not in charge? Hold on, let me practice my Second Amendment real quick. Where's my thing? No. This ain't about us being better than you or being mean or nothing like that. No. You come to our house, we are in charge, okay? You back our play. We the coach, we the quarterback, we the captain, we the general, we the commander. Lieutenant, commander, lieutenant, captain. That's what it is. Not personal. But if you don't want to do that, the ocean is very big. There's a lot of room for you. Okay. Not condoning violence. Just saying.
black thing is kind of like a almost main character syndrome, laced in xenophobia and supremacy. This is like another issue of picking up the white man's tools in a way. Like sometimes we don't need all of them. Like
Oh, okay. Oh, this just okay. Sometimes it must be working and sometimes it don't. Sometimes it be working. Yeah, sometimes it don't. I'm gonna get a new keyboard. I'm gonna get a new whole thing. Okay. No. When it's not like that. It's look. And we're not supremacists. No. First off, this cause about birthright citizenship and what we need to be on, y'all not on that page. We not coming in here looking down. We talked about this the other day. Y'all punching down, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. No, this is not about that. Y'all making it seem like we doing y'all wrong. Notice the framing. They're making it seem like we're doing them wrong by not allowing them to pretty much do what they want to do in our house. You don't tell the owner of the house he or she is doing you wrong because you're not allowed to put your foot on the table. Y'all been coming in, walking in with your shoes, opening the refrigerator, leaving the door open, putting your shoes on the table, putting the coat over the couch, the chair door or whatever, the chair rest, whatever the case. Y'all ain't been following none of the rules. And then when we say, okay, hey, this is my house. This is how we doing it. Y'all sound racist. That sounds xenophobic. That sounds like I can't put. You hate me? You hate, I look like you. What you, how you hate my, no. This ain't got nothing to do with no hate. See, we are establishing order. You guys are the guests here. And if y'all was respectful, this wouldn't have been no problem. But y'all been disrespectful, acting like y'all can put your feet on the table. So when we get your feet off the table and everything like that, don't get mad. You shouldn't have put your damn feet on the table. Okay? The sign says shoes at the door and you got your feet on the table. Hey. So now that we establishing order here, y'all sitting up there acting like, oh, we bad and we mean and we foul. No, we are none of those. We are doing things the right way, and that's why business is getting handled now. Let me get to some of the super chats real quick. Shout out to Jedi Sage. He says, you cooking them. FBA, this is the way. This is the way. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the Mandalorian. This is the way. Okay. I think Snatchadam says, remember they told us we had no nation or home. Trump said bet. Yeah, hey, they said we have no nation, no home. Yeah, caught us. We are caught us. Okay. He said, then he says, hashtag Hail Hydra. Okay. Hashtag Hail Hydra. Sound like the who's that character? Red Skull. All right. David Johnson says, they're jealous. Okay, jealous and hate is showing. Jealousy and hate is showing. They wish they could be. They wish we could be deported, but nope. Yeah, we are not being deported. That is not what's going on. That is not what's happening. Then he says, they are not our niggas. They are not our niggas. They have been letting it known they are not our niggas. Okay. I hope you can swim. Okay. Shariah says, we've marched, we've bled. Now we're focused on us. This isn't hate, it's healing. I like that phrase. I like that. It's not hate, it's healing. I like that. I like the way you worded that. If you don't stand for us, don't expect us to stand. No more distractions. It's FBA first. Legacy, justice, and restoration. Period. I like the way you worded that, sister. I like the way you worded that. Yes, come on. We have a mission. We have a goal. We're trying to accomplish things. We have a lot of problems that's been getting ignored because we allow everybody else's problems to take the forefront. We allow everybody else's problems to take precedent over our own. And what's been happening is we've been falling back further down the line because everybody else's problems is now the issue. Our issue is never the issue. Now it's them. Now it's them. Now it's him. Now it's her. Now we're saying, no, our issue is the issue. Don't matter what else they got going on. Our issue is the one that needs to be on the headlines, point blank, period. That is it. That is all. We are not letting anybody else take front page news ever again. And y'all feeling some type of way about it, and that's just what it is. Because if we don't do it this way, our issues are never going to get solved. Our problems are only going to get worse, and we can't allow that to happen. So yeah, y'all gonna have to. Y'all are side stories. We are the main story. Okay, they said it sounds like main character energy. I think it is, and it should be. We the main story. We front page news. Y'all somewhere in the corner article over there. Blackfoot says, Trump, please check CBC parent birth certificates. CBC. Yeah, honestly, all the CBC, all of them. Yep. Thank you very much. Shout out to Kat. Appreciate the super chat, super sticker. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Dominique says, appreciate Dominique. Thank you so much. Thank you, family. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the program. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate your support. It means a lot. It's very, very helpful. All right. David, again, he says, notice how all other groups of people get to practice and state, quote, their race pride. Yeah, that's true. But when FBAs do it, it's a problem. F out of here. It says reverse psychology. We are better. Yeah, I mean, come on now. They be flying their flags and bragging about how hard workers they are and how they got great culture and they got great all of this stuff and they're so hard working and we lazy. That's why we ain't getting nowhere, because we lazy. That's what they've been saying. Okay. All right. Okay. And then the second we say something, now it sounds like we black supremacists or something like that. No, don't do that, because y'all didn't call Caribbean supremacists when they said we couldn't participate in that stuff. When they say we can't participate in their stuff, when they say we culture vultures, when they say they better, when they say they got this going on, when they say we lazy, and when they say our culture is better and we don't got no culture and we don't know where we're from, that don't make them supremacists, right? Okay. See, the problem is y'all are used to throwing stones from a glass house. And y'all keep throwing them stones, and then we picking up a stone and throwing that back. And now the whole roof is coming down on your head, and y'all realizing like, damn, this house is made of glass. I didn't notice that. Well, you shouldn't have been throwing stones. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay. Now you gonna know. Now you gonna know. You're gonna look and you're gonna check. You're gonna check and make sure that your house ain't made of glass before you throw a stone. Okay. Our stones are made of brick. Like we from the Three Little Pigs, the last pig who made his damn house out of brick and the wolf couldn't blow it down. Yeah, our house is made out of bricks. Our house is made out of bricks. Your house is made out of stone. Okay, so when you throwing stones at the brick house, ain't really, you might scratch it or chip a brick. You throwing rocks at the brick house, and we coming outside and we throwing rocks at the glass house, and then the house will be coming down. Okay, and remember in the story of the Three Little Pigs, the pig with the bricks, he was all like, "Hey man, building a house with straws is easy, but it ain't gonna last." He said, "Man, I'm cool." You know what? That's a perfect analogy. The Three Little Pigs story is a perfect analogy for what we got going on now that you think about it. Yeah, now that you think about it, actually, this is kind of like the Three Little Pigs. Now that I just thought of that. We the ones who made our house out of bricks. We the ones who, like Franklin Slate, brick by brick. We've been laying this house down like we the Three Little Pigs. Y'all been saying y'all straw house. What one built it with straws, then the other one sticks, right? So y'all was building y'all house with straws and sticks and glass and all of that stuff. Okay. But the problem is that when white supremacy, the big bad wolf, come blow your house down, you run into the next house. You fleeing to the next house. See, in a brick house, we don't have to flee nowhere. We built our house out of bricks. Y'all built your house out of sticks and flour and straw and all of that stuff. Y'all built your house out of that. And now y'all thinking y'all can flee to the next house that's stronger than y'all house. And when y'all get to the brick house, y'all knocking on the door. Come on, let me in. Oh, we not letting you in. Hey. You could have built your house with the bricks. You could have built your house with the bricks. Okay? See now the Three Little Pigs story, now it hit different now. Yeah, it hit different. Now you should have built your house with the bricks. We did. We cool. We in front of the fireplace and everything like that. If he come to get us, we turning that fireplace on. You ain't Santa Claus. Come on. Yeah. See, it's like that now. Embrace Your Faith. Thank you very much. Says, remember when the tethers was screaming, we don't have power to kick them out the U.S. Yeah, I remember that. They was puffing their chest out. I remember that. Okay. How long after we delineated that they get their walking papers? Yeah, SSFBA. Oh yeah. Can we get some ships? Can we get some cruise ships in the chat room? We SSFBA over here. We the captains of the ship. You can call it what you want to. We the captain, whether you like it or not. Thank you very much. Yeah. Y'all, man, when y'all was up, y'all thought y'all was y'all thought y'all couldn't be stopped. Y'all thought y'all couldn't be stopped. Let's get some ships and then let's get some bricks. Let's get some bricks in the chat room too. We built our house out of bricks, okay? And y'all house out of the sticks and stuff. That's over with. Come on now. Y'all want to call us mean and mad? No. Okay. Y'all can be upset about it. It is what it is. That don't make us not the captain. But boy, they out here and they looking bad. It's a shame. Look at this, y'all. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to do it, but I got to.
So I don't know if y'all saw the recent. So I don't know if y'all saw the recent Supreme Court ruling. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cry. But they sided with the Trump administration on nationwide injunctions, which was preventing birthright citizenship, which was preventing Trump's birthright citizenship executive order from going in effect. And so essentially, it's a 30-day pause before whatever guidance they put out will go in effect, which essentially means that you can't do a nationwide injunction to curtail some of his executive orders, which essentially means that it puts 250,000 children. It puts 250,000 children in limbo. And we know that they don't want to stop there. They've already been trying to position to put U.S. citizens in foreign jails, which we know.
If you mean U.S. citizens in foreign jails, no. Where y'all been saying that and ain't been no proof of that. Why y'all? Come on.
A lot of that will be black and brown people. And the Supreme Court basically said that they can rewrite the Constitution unilaterally. So it seems the only way to protect yourself or your child, and like, I'm trying not to cry, but as a mom, it's hard to imagine you not knowing if your child is safe. Citizenship is like the bedrock of the Constitution. If you're born on the land of the United States of America, you're a citizen. So for the court to put out this order and then not even comment on the merits, which essentially puts all us in limbo, it takes.
Why do they keep saying us? That's my question. Can I ask that question? Why do they keep saying us? I don't know. I mean, I know they know a little bit of English and maybe they foreign tongue might slip out, but they keep saying us and we and all. And I just don't understand that. I just don't know what they be saying when they say that. Maybe does us mean something different to me than it does to y'all? Does we mean something different to me than it does to y'all? I know that's a French word, but they saying us and we and all and with huh? No, y'all speak. I don't understand this language y'all speaking now. Y'all speaking tether language. I don't understand this. No, this ain't that. We are all in limbo. No, we are all not.
6 years to get to the Supreme Court. That means you can be a citizen in California, but you might not be a citizen in Texas. And we've already seen them use the National Guard to go and usurp the governor of California. And the courts have already ruled in that situation that they have the ability to usurp the governor and use the National Guard if they feel like it. And we all read that executive order where he wants to do that. So you could essentially have ICE agents going into hospitals and ripping children from their mom.
Damn, I mean, that's tough. It is. I've never heard of a situation where ICE is doing that. Where as soon as the baby come out, ICE agents is out the door. ICE agents said, "Move aside, sir. I'm gonna cut the umbilical cord," and they cut it and take the baby. Like, as tragic as that would be. I mean, I guess it's traumatic, but that is just not happening. That is just not happening. We have not heard of a case of that. We've not heard of that. No, that all of that they taking them. Okay, well, is the mom a citizen? Okay, if she's not, then okay. They do what they do, and then when y'all get out the hospital, come on, this ride to Mexico is warm for y'all. Come on, all of that, and they're gonna do that, and they're gonna kidnap pregnant women, and they're gonna make them give birth on the plane to Mexico. Okay, all right. See, all of this super dramatic stuff is really losing us. See, when y'all turn it up so much, it's like that's not what's happening. ICE is not going into the damn delivery room with the doctor. Like, just to make sure, hold on, we gonna make sure we deport them. ICE is right there in the delivery room with the father and the doctor. Instead of the dad being the first one to hold the baby, it's an ICE agent. Like, come on now. No, That's not what's going on. Come on. Y'all sound so dramatic. Sit up there crying, you know. Oh, come on.
Does that stop? He's starting with immigrants, but we know that's not their goal. The architect of all this was the Heritage Foundation, with the use of Stephen Miller, with the idea that immigrants were making the country more diverse. In order to fill that diversity, you have to essentially remove that population from the country. So now it's immigrants. Next, it might be nationalized citizens. Next, it might be Black Americans.
Y'all gonna get me sick. It's not, it's next. It's always y'all coming. It's next. Y'all coming next. It's gonna be y'all next. And y'all gonna be, y'all gonna take everything and erase history and then ban your memories in your brain, and they're gonna shoot you in the space. That's why Elon Musk is working with the rocket ships. He's working with the rocket ships because you're gonna deport you guys to the moon. He's gonna deport all of you guys to the moon, and you guys can't even breathe in space. You're gonna die. Oh, come on. That is not happening. Come on. It's always gonna be us next. Next for what? We are home. There is no next. With all this next. It's gonna happen to y'all next. It's gonna happen. You're gonna go somewhere. I don't know, the moon, or triangle, or maybe space, or the moon, or under the earth. Is gonna dig a big hole, and he's gonna throw you guys in the hole. Don't do it to yourself. It's just not a good look. You look bad. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on. Have some dignity, please.
And the 14th Amendment was made specifically because there were a bunch of slaves that did not have a place, that weren't U.S. citizens. So they had the 14th Amendment so that all people would be citizens. And essentially, all that's in limbo, as well as all of the other nationwide injunctions that we're putting against the Trump administration are now in limbo. The only option, it seems now, is to have a class action lawsuit, which takes a long time to farm, and you literally would have to have your name on that lawsuit to have any kind of form of protection. And there's no telling that the Trump administration won't argue that that class action lawsuit, that class, isn't illegal. Because let's say if you're not a legal citizen here, then what's preventing them from saying that you don't also benefit from our laws and the ability to have class action lawsuits? I'm so sorry I did this crime. I just can't imagine. And this is the reason why it goes back to I don't understand why we can't have bold leadership in the Democratic Party. Do you see how far Republicans are willing to go? We don't have anybody on our side that is willing to go this far to protect rights. To protect rights. These people are going so far to rip away rights. Why don't we have any kind of leadership that is coming out to protect rights? Why not? Y'all tell me what y'all think about all this in the comments. Again, I apologize for all the crying. I did not mean to do that. It's just that I wanted to get this video to make sure other people are aware that essentially the Supreme Court has sided with Donald Trump, and in 30 days, everything just falls in limbo when it comes to birthright citizenship.
Man, first off, don't apologizing for all the crying. Ma'am, you've been crying and you've been editing the video. I can see, I would almost give it a pass if this was a live. But you see how many cuts and edits you made to the video? The whole thing was 4 damn minutes. You've been crying for the whole 4 damn minutes. Hold on, guys. Okay, so Trump, he's going to. I'm just saying. I'm sorry for all the crying. Damn, get it together and film that. You cried purposely, ma'am. Okay, you thought the crime was gonna help the views or help the sympathy or something like that. Come on now, you wasn't crying by accident. You was editing the crying in the video. You was all like, okay, hold on. Okay, take one. Okay, what Trump is gonna do is he's gonna deport everybody and the babies and everything like that. Take two. Okay, so the Supreme Court with the like, come on, you did that on purpose. You did that on purpose. Now we are not sitting up there gonna I apologize for all of the crying. Well, you could have edited that out if you were gonna edit the video like you did. Why didn't you edit all that crying out? You put the crying in there. I'm surprised we didn't hear dramatic piano music. Let me get this in the super chat real quick. Hold on. Shout out to Shariah again says, quote, "We are the roots, not the leaves." I like that. While others painted walls and called it shelter, we laid the foundation. So when the storm hits, don't call it an attack. Your house was built for snow, not for survival. Hey, I like that. I like that. I like that quote. That's poetry right there. That's poetry. I like that. Hey, we laid the bricks and y'all put out little, y'all built y'all house out of hay or whatever the case is. Okay, and the hay blows in the wind. No, and bricks don't. CJ Onyx says, he gives a super chat saying, wouldn't it be nice if the sister in the video could be that broken up about how our families and children have suffered? Just saying. That's true. You don't see them crying and doing all of this pity party stuff for nobody else but themselves. It's only when it comes to something affecting them personally is it, oh my God, the humanity of it all. And we just sitting up there like, hey man, we ain't this ain't that, man. This ain't that. This ain't that. And they get mad. Now they send up there and all of this out, and I'm playing this to let you guys see the whole black supremacy and black races or black MAGA, that stuff coming from the top. Look at this. Hold on. See, they don't know what to do. They don't know if they want to cry, if they want to shout, if they want to yell, all of that. Look.
The 14th Amendment, when Donald Trump said that, the 14th Amendment was for the babies of slaves. He did not mean that he was supporting your FBA black behind. Y'all, FBA people are the biggest coons I've ever seen in my life, and it's embarrassing. Why are you out here on the internet talking about Donald Trump said the FBA moves? That the 14th Amendment was for the babies of slaves. He said something so spiritual. He really is sticking up for us. That's the truth. Y'all keep trying to cosplay our culture. Look, African Americans, we have a culture. We have our own African American subgroup culture. We do. Anybody who tries to deny that is weird. But just because African Americans have our own culture does not mean that we don't have ties to Africa. African American culture literally originates from our ancestors who are displaced West Africans. And we created a land here. We created a community here. And the more you guys try to dishonor your ancestors by coming on the internet and saying we have no ties to Africa, we've been here for 400 years.
Look, okay, and I want to address that. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let it play all the way, but we're gonna break that down. We're
not African anymore. We're American. You sound slow. You don't know why you sound slow. We built this country by force. We were forced to build this country. We were forced to do this. We were forced to become entertainers. We were forced to do it, and we did a damn good job doing it. We did. That's why I love being African American, because we pushed through some shit. But
beware of people claiming to be African American nowadays. Just beware of that, because a lot what people are going to hide behind is that technically I'm from Africa and technically I'm an American, so technically I'm an African American. Myron Gaines is saying that about himself now. Okay, so a whole bunch of people, remember the one woman, I'm gonna play the clip in a second, she was talking about I'm first generation African American. So keep that in mind. That African American word, a lot of tethers will be using that word to sit up there and slide as if they are part of the lineage that they not.
Deny your ancestral heritage, to deny where you really come from, is so annoying to me. Being xenophobic towards all these Africans, I see y'all like, well, yeah, deport the Africans, deport them, send them away. They're xenophobic. They don't like Black Americans. A lot of Africans love Black Americans. And if they could send you back to Africa, if they could find a way to do it, they would. Liberia, prime example. They tried.
Nobody forced it here. Okay. Just to keep in mind, Liberia was voluntary. Everybody, all of the FBA who decided to leave and become citizens of Liberia and leave America, that was voluntary. Nobody made them go to Liberia or the land that would become Liberia. Nobody made them go. Nobody makes us go. Nobody can make us go. If they left by choice, and that's on them. So it ain't nobody shipping us off unwillingly. That's not happening. That's never happened.
Before, you don't think they'll try again? Like, I just want y'all to sit on that.
Okay. Okay. Let me get to this though. The whole, y'all keep trying to deny y'all roots in Africa. And we are misplaced Africans. Okay. For the sake of the argument, what we're going to do is we're going to say, for the sake of the argument, all of us, there would not be a single black person here if it wasn't for Christopher Columbus and the slave trade. Let's say that. Y'all already know what the science is, but let's just say that for the sake of the argument. The only reason we're here is because of the slave ships, okay? Because of the Middle Passage, because of that. And all of us are from West Africa originally. Okay, all right. For the argument, let's say that. Okay, fine. We've been separated and our ties have been cut for over 500 years, okay? That became ethnogenesis. That was a forced ethnogenesis, okay? We're from a different land. We built a different land. We built a different culture. We built a different government. So we were from that land, that culture, that government. That is the way the world works. You would not go to Japan and tell Japanese people, you guys aren't really Japanese. You guys are really misplaced Chinese people. You would not do that. If you did dare do that, they would want to fight you. They would actually want to take your life away, to be very honest. I'm not even going to go there, but we all know they would sit up there. They would look for the closest katana they could find. They would want to take your life away for disrespecting them like that. You would not dare go to Japan and tell Japanese people. And if we want to go to the history, a lot of the people who are Japanese people, like it was like 1,000-something years ago, those people migrated from China and they went to Japan and they became the inhabitants of the Japan, of the land that was going to become Japan. They built a Japanese culture, which is different from China, and they've lived there and stayed there forever. Okay, you would not go back and say, well, technically 2,000 years ago, you guys were really Chinese, so you're really not Japanese, you're really Chinese. They would say, okay, hold on, we're about to practice some ninjutsu on you, okay? This is about to get real ugly. And notice nobody even tries to do that to them. Nobody tries to tell Japanese people you're really Chinese. Nobody tries to tell Korean people you're really Chinese. Nobody tries to tell them that. Oh, Korean? Oh, you're Korean. And you don't got to worry about nothing else but being Korean. You're Japanese. You don't got to worry about nothing else but being Japanese. They even do that to the Caribbean. Oh, you're Jamaican. You don't got to worry about nothing else but being Jamaican. You're Haitian. You don't got to worry about nothing else but that. You're American. No. You're really African, really. I mean, come on. You're not really American. We the only people in the world that got to go through that. Just keep that in mind. Why? Why are we the only people in the world that got to go through that? And then think about it like this. My grandmother and on one of my sides of my family, born in Mississippi. Her mother born in Mississippi. Her father born in Mississippi, right? They're from Mississippi. Now, my parents were born in Chicago. Okay. I'm from here. I'm not from Mississippi. Okay. I do have roots to Mississippi, but I'm not from Mississippi. So when people be all like, hey, where are you from? And I say Chicago, and they be all like, you're not really from Chicago. You're really from Mississippi. No, how am I really from Mississippi? I mean, no, because your ancestry goes back to Mississippi. Yeah, but yeah, but I'm not that. I am from a different place. Notice I'm from a different place. Yeah, I do have ancestry, but because they moved and because we have a different culture here, I'm from here. When people go to a different land and they become a part of the culture of that land, they are a part of that land. Okay? Even if they do have roots, everybody got roots to other places. Okay? South Africans have roots beyond South Africa, but you don't say they're not South African. Do you? When you go to South Africa, do you say, hey, well, South Africa, I mean, you really did come from Nigeria. You're really not South African. You're really kind of like Nigerian, really. They don't say that. Just like you wouldn't say, well, where are you from? You're from New York. You're not really from New York. No, you're really from where you're from. You're really from where you are from. Okay? You might have historical ties to other places. Everybody in the world does. Everybody in the world can make the argument they have historical ties to other places. But you're from where you're from. Point blank, period. That's the end of it. Okay? In the world, when you build a place, you're from that place. We built America. We're from America. Just like Japanese people, they built Japan. They're from Japan. They're not kind of Japanese, but really Chinese. Even though they built Japan, we acknowledge, oh, you built Japan, you're from Japan. We built America, we're from America. That's how the world works. You built Korea, you're from Korea. Okay? You built South Africa, you're from South Africa. You built Egypt, you're from Egypt. You built Jamaica, you're from Jamaica. You built Haiti, you're from Haiti. We built America, but we're really from Africa? How does that work? Why is the laws of the world change when we get in the picture? The law of the world change only when we get a step in the room. That law just don't apply to us. It applies to everybody else in the world but us. No. Oh, we really know. We are really from America. We are really from America. And this is not to be mean or disrespectful. This is to state the fact. We are really from America. And no matter how much gaslighting y'all try, it's not going to change that. Okay? Let me get to the super chat. Josh says, they weren't forced to be here. They have fled. That's the truth. They all fled. All of them fled. All of them fled. All of them fled. Thank you. And they did it because they thought that this country was in some way, no matter what they thought, whether it was school, the economy, whatever, they thought that America was better in some way, shape, or form. It was better. And they fled. Okay. Up Down Penn Avenue says, to say FBA are continental Africans is the same thing as saying Jamaicans and Haitians are continental Africans. It is. And nobody says that about them. Nobody makes that argument about them. I'm going to play a clip real quick to give you guys a reminder, okay? David says they're, quote, mad. They're, quote, mad. Oh, they're mad. I'm glad because FBAs need to see this. We ain't got no friends. We're all we got, but that's enough. That is enough. That's enough. And these bad faith, disingenuous arguments is over with. Do y'all remember this clip? Let me play it again. Just to remind you guys of the type of time that they're on. Look at this.
I represent Ghana more because I know my culture from Ghana. For an example, my mom, she's American. I don't know what part of Africa she was from. My dad, he's Ghanaian.
She's American, like.
But at the end of the day,
I don't know. They're American.
But,
you wouldn't say that to a Jamaican.
But they're African American, though.
Would you say a Jamaican don't know what part of Africa he's from?
Jamaicans are Caribbean, so they already have their own. Like,
would you say he don't know what part of Africa he's from?
But he know where he comes from. He comes from Jamaica.
Just like a black.
And here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. She's not trolling. She's not trolling. She genuinely believes in every word she's saying right now. She genuinely believes this. She's not joking. She's not laughing. She's not trolling. She believes in this foolishness. This is foolishness, but she believes this full-heartedly. Okay, 100%. She believes this. She believes some way the rules change when we walk in the room. That's what she believes.
But I guess maybe okay. But I guess maybe they can. But I guess maybe.
Wait, one second.
I guess it's
One second.
easier to pinpoint.
A Jamaica is from Jamaica, right?
Yes.
An American is from where?
An African American is from Africa and America, but they don't know what part.
And this is why that term is confusing.
Look, see, and they can't do nothing but laugh. And I want you to understand why they talk about we being xenophobic or we being black supremacists or whatever. We have been dealing with this type of rhetoric for generations now. It's now a big thing on social media, but hearing stuff like we don't know where we're from, we don't have no nation, we don't have no land, and all of that stuff, the Akata this and Akata this and all of this stuff that they've been saying, we've been hearing this for generations now. So now we're finally saying, okay, we had enough of that. And that folks are saying like, oh, y'all sound like black supremacists to me. Y'all sound xenophobic. Y'all sound alt-right. No, this is what y'all been saying. And they believe this one, she's standing on this point. This isn't up for interpretation. She's not guessing. She fully believes that we are lost Africans, but nobody else is. Only us.
Is which I hear people just say black Americans now because we try to do the right thing and at least acknowledge our ancestry. Unlike you don't see a Haitian saying I'm African Haitian or a Jamaican saying I'm African. We try to do the right thing and acknowledge our ancestry, and now it's being used. Well, what part? Like no, just for that we just black Americans now. Like fuck all that African American shit, bro. We black Americans now, bro. Because if y'all don't question the Caribbeans, then y'all shouldn't question the Americans.
Caribbeans know where they come from. African Americans don't know.
They do not.
Like I'm saying, what for in their minds, the rules have just changed. So that's why we're not even taking what they're saying serious at this point. They keep trying to make the argument that we're this lost, stateless people who's just lost without a land, without a nation to claim. They want this to be the truth. They want this to be the case. So this is why we're not taking any of what they saying serious. All they fear mongering and all that stuff, it comes from that energy. We're not taking that serious. Oh yeah, we're home. Now y'all might not recognize this as our home, but we laying the law down like it's our home. We recognize it. That's all that matter. See, it was cool when we didn't recognize it. They want us to go back to us not recognizing this as our land, as our home, as the country our ancestors built. They want us to not recognize that fact. But now that we recognize that fact, it's changed a lot. It's changed the game now. So now we recognize that, okay, oh, so we're starting to change how we operate with that now. It's one thing you go to somebody's house and you see somebody put their foot on the table. If that's not your house, you can't really say nothing. You go to your house and you see somebody putting their foot on your table. Oh, no. Hey, get your foot down. Oh, I didn't know this was you was telling me this wasn't my house, so I didn't put the law down. I didn't set order. I didn't put my foot down because I thought this was everybody's house, but this my house? Oh yeah, get your foot down and hang your coat up. Act like you got some home training. Yeah, that's what we on now. And y'all be on all of y'all sound so mean. It's my house. This is our house. Made of bricks. Okay? Right there. This is SSFBA, baby. This ain't that no more. This is not that no more. So yeah, as far as the executive order is concerned, that's why you don't see Foundation Black Americans tripping on it. You don't see us tripping on it. You do not see us tripping on it. Because this our home and we ain't going nowhere. That's it. We not going nowhere. Family, I think that concludes tonight's broadcast, tonight's live. I appreciate every single last one of y'all. Thank you guys so very much for the cash outs, for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. This is our home, man, and we ain't going nowhere, and nobody's gonna get us to get off the yellow brick road and help them with their cause so they can sit up there and ignore us. No, this ain't what that is. No. Okay, we are on a mission. If y'all don't want to help contribute to the cause, then y'all can get on your own boat and do your own thing. I wish you the best of luck, but I don't think that little draft, that little canoe is going to survive this storm. You need this big ship, but that little canoe, you want to do your own thing now. Okay, then. Okay. But that's what it is. It's SFFBA, and that's it. Okay. You either own our ship or you in the ocean. And we ain't making no exceptions. Now, family, if you guys didn't get the notifications to this live stream, then y'all can follow me on my various social media pages. And the link to that is in the description. Okay? It's in the description. Y'all make sure y'all do that if y'all don't get the notifications, which you guys should already have pressed the notification button. You should already have pressed that notification button. If this is y'all first time here, this is y'all chance to do so. So y'all can press that notification button. Y'all can hit that subscribe button so we can have more people coming in. We can spread more knowledge, spread more power to the people. And very, very important, hit that like button, smash that like button, that thumbs up button. Make sure you guys have that pressed. Hit that like button. Get this on the algorithm. Let everybody know this is SSFBA. We the captain, we the commander, we the general, we the president, we all of that. And this is our house made of bricks. Okay? We built this big brick by brick. If y'all know about the snowfall, brick by brick, baby. That's what we own. We had a pretty good live stream. My brothers and my sisters, appreciate y'all. Be one to every single last one of y'all. With that being said, y'all have a good one. Y'all stay blessed, family.